Yeah, I shared it up on my Discord about 10 minutes ago.
Sweet. All right. What's going on, everybody? You already know it is your boy, Knucklelooks, your boy 94. Back here again with another podcast. I see some people already in the chat. Appreciate it. Got some special guests on my channel today for the first time. I'll let you guys introduce yourself. I'll start with Josh and just go in order. So once Josh, go on you to go.
Hey guys, I'm Josh, HeelJosh. Just do as well TikTok wrestling content and also on Twitch and YouTube. Just HeelJosh everywhere.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, just go right ahead.
Okay, my name's Renee. It's Renee on TikTok. I also have Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat that everybody can add me on. All of my links are in TikTok if you guys want to add me. And I'm a huge wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan for over 30 years. So I love it. It's my life pretty much. So
so I never asked you guys this off the air. One by one, who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
So for me, it is Shawn Michaels.
HBK. Okay.
I would say out of all time, my favorite wrestler would be Randy Orton.
Ooh, okay.
I've been following him since he was a Legend Killer, so I'm a huge fan of Randy Orton's.
Randy Orton is pretty good. Shawn Michaels is pretty good too. Mine's John Cena. So.
Oh yeah, that's my hero. So.
I'm one of those fans who would go to the shows, and when John Cena would come out, I would be the let's go Cena. Cena sucks. That was always me.
My god, the best time.
That was
me. Fun to do live.
Those are like the craziest times, man. Like,
yeah. For
people who never if you ever been to a show when John Cena's there, bro, it's literally like a mixed reaction, bro. Like half the audience is like really split, bro. So it's like it's pretty cool, man. Especially like with the kids, shit like that. Like I remember going when I went to I talked about going to Fastlane in 2018. So when I went to Fastlane, there's this kid that sat in front of me, huge John Cena fan, all the John Cena merch. He could have been like 6, 7 years old, right? And when John Cena lost, bro, I'm talking tears in his eyes, bro, just so upset, bro. He couldn't believe it. He was like, he was so upset, bro. And right next to him, right in front of him was this guy who hated John Cena. He was like, yes, he didn't win. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's what I love about wrestling. Everyone's always so different on wrestlers. I have a kind of a similar story. I went to a Raw and I was sitting by the stage. There was these kids in the front rows in front of us, all wearing the same newest John Cena gear. Just had turned 21, so I was drinking for my first time at a wrestling show. And obviously Cena comes out midway through and I'm booing the heck out of him. One of the kids turned around, looks at me, and he goes, and I was with my mom and my brother, I believe, and they just started cracking up. And I'd missed it until they told me, look at him, he's mad at you. And he was mad dogging me. This kid hated me. It was great.
So I actually have a pretty fun story about John Cena. So I actually met him. I was in Las Vegas.
I'm extremely jealous. I'm extremely jealous.
And listen, I have a tattoo for John Cena. Okay, like that's how serious I am about him.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, I was at the airport, right? And I just missed Dean Ambrose. So anybody who knows me knows I love Ambrose. And I was crying and I was so upset. I turn around and John Cena's just standing there. And I'm like,
holy cow.
I did not know how to react, right? And he just gets swarmed by fans. And I'm just standing there waiting. And I'm like the only girl, right? So then he looks at me. We like make eye contact. And he's like, all right, guys, move. Give me a second. And he just pushes everybody out of the way. And he goes, come here. And I go up to him. He's like, do you want to take a picture? And I was like, I do. So we took a selfie. And then I walked away. And then the crowd just went right back. And I was like, that was
that's
the coolest
so
thing I've ever
crazy.
Done.
That's amazing.
So cool.
That is awesome.
That's so dope. That's crazy, man. I've only as a kid, there were only 2 people that I really idolized as a kid. One of them was Kobe Bryant, wanted to be just like Kobe, and the other was John Cena. Like I thought John Cena was like Superman, bro. I wanted to be just like this guy as a kid. I was one of those fans that like rooted for him. Like before I started to understand what wrestling really was, I was like a super like obsessed John Cena fan, man. And one of the funniest stories too, one of my friends, so he's one of those guys like you, Josh. He's like, Cena sucks. And he went to WrestleMania in New York, 29, when Cena and Rock faced twice. And he said there was this little John Cena kid in front of him who was a diehard John Cena fan. He was rooting for The Rock, and The Rock loses and everything. And him and this kid kept going back and forth the whole time, right? And he said that right after the match, this kid turned around and was like, "Can't see me." And he was like, "Oh man, I was hurt, bro. I was hurt." So it was pretty. It was pretty cool, man. That's the only wrestler I've ever met was Daniel Bryan, though, man. Like I've never met any other. And I didn't even know how to approach him too. Like I felt like There are certain ways. I feel like different ways because I used to work at the airport, and there were other celebrities that walked in there, like Jerry Springer walked in there before, LL Cool J walked in before, but it was like
that's amazing.
It's different when it's a wrrestler though, because it's like
it's something
you're a wrestling fan,
really
so it's like you're like oh my god, like it's fucking like Liv Morgan. Nobody may know who she is. Like I saw Brian Pillman Jr. in the airport one time, and I was like, oh shit, Brian Pillman Jr. is over there, bro. Like,
that's awesome.
Like what do I do? Like, because he's from the same area that I'm from, and I was like, I don't even like nobody. Of course, he's sitting by himself, so half people didn't even know who he was. But I'm like, holy shit, like that's Brian Pillman Jr. Like, what do I say to him? Like, what do I go to him? What do I do? You know what I mean? So it's like seeing it, like meeting a wrestler is like, especially somebody like John Cena. That's like,
oh yeah, that's intimidating. That would be very intimidating.
How would you even react to that? Because there were a lot of people when WWE came to town and I met Daniel Bryan. There were so many fans waiting for Roman Reigns, and I was like, I was telling all the fans, I was like, Roman's not walking to the airport. He's not walking to this airport. I'll say that right now. He's probably on some. As soon as he got off the plane, he might have got some type of into like a shuttle or something like that and walked out. Because I feel like now with WWE so big, certain wrestlers you can't walk to airports because you get mobbed by everybody.
Yeah, the only time I've gotten
Randy Orton. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen Randy Orton in an airport, but it gets crazy when he walks through an airport.
He kind of transcends wrestling a little bit. So yeah, he's more.
See, he's intimidating because he's like somebody you wouldn't know how to walk up to. Like, what do you say? Like imagine seeing Brock Lesnar in the airport. You're like, holy shit, there's Brock.
Have you guys seen the video of him outside of a WWE event and he goes up to like the barricade where the fans are and just asks them for a cigarette? Randy, this is like it's like 2004. This is a long time ago.
This is like 2000.
Oh my gosh, it was at the airport, right?
No, this is like outside because there's barricades. So this is like outside of a WWE. Because I've been when I go to events, I usually go to where the performers can enter, and they always have barricades, and fans just chill, watch them go in and out, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like that
happened at an airport. That's why I was asking because the same thing happened at the Phoenix airport. So he asked a fan for a cigarette, and I was like,
but you never know. You never know. Like you just never know. Some people like I say, if we saw Brock, like you would want to ask him, but you just because Brock's so mysterious, you never know. Brock,
it's so funny too because I browse Reddit and I'll go to the wrestling Reddits and I'll see fans will bump into him in Canada or where the heck he is, and they have photos with him and he's like just chill as hell, and I'm like, that's so weird to see Brock just being a person. Like it's so weird because you just know him as a butt kicker. That's all you know him as. The
same with the Undertaker now. The Undertaker's doing like all these interviews. I'm like, bro, like this is like Undertaker. Like I feel like every time he does like an interview now, I'm like, it's because I legit thought he'd be like some dead guy as a kid, bro. I thought he's some dead guy with like some type of powers or some shit.
Yeah, it's been weird to see like Last Ride and him on Joe Rogan and all these other stuff. It's like, damn, that's the Undertaker, dude. That's so weird.
Do you guys actually feel like he's officially retired?
I would Undertaker? So. I say no, but I would hope.
You don't think so?
I don't think he is.
See, I don't think he is either because Undertaker is very old school and he knows the way you go out is on your shield. You put somebody over by putting out, and maybe he would have put AJ over WrestleMania with fans. We don't know because that never got to happen. Yeah. But for him to retire, not only to win his last match, but in front of nobody. That's just like I don't see that, man. I can't see it. I can't see it. It's just
that's why I'm so happy for Edge because he gets to have his WrestleMania moment, a title match, and there's actually gonna be people there. Can you imagine if there was nobody there in his moment? Like that would suck. Like I'd feel so bad for him if that would happen.
Same. That's how I felt about Drew last year at WrestleMania. I was like, damn, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100% felt bad. One thing that made it I loved about him winning though against Brock was after he won when he just looked into the camera and he just said thank you. I was like, you don't see that. You don't see them looking into the camera like that. That was an incredible moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got some comments in here. We got some people in here for HeelJosh. Tell HeelJosh said hi.
What's up, Blakely?
There's another one for HeelJosh somewhere. I can't. It was something. I gotta scroll up. Oh, this one right here.
Yo.
This one right here. So HeelJosh remembers me. Do you remember that?
I do because he just said that like a week ago.
So he's always in the comments. Let's see some other comments. Okay, to be honest, I always wanted these are some random comments. This is another one right here. Somebody says get Megan Nicole in here.
Megan's really cool. I've talked to her.
Megan, I've chatted with Megan too. Megan, you want to be on the podcast?
She's awesome.
Come to the podcast. So
she's a big Roman Reigns fan.
Yeah, I love. Oh, God, her and Becky Lynch. Oh, obsessed.
Oh, and Becky. How did I forget
Becky.
that? That's
I was like, Becky is the number one.
I asked her once, and she was on live, and I was like, if you had to pick between Becky and Roman, who would you pick? She refused. She's like, I can't. I refuse to choose between either.
That's amazing.
So, Those some comments. If you guys.
Sorry.
Oh, wait! Once again, you see this question right here? Once again, right here. Do you think Jeff Hardy should have another title run?
I'm just gonna say no. I'm not gonna go into my big details about it. I'm ready to see people like Priest or Riddle get some more shine. So
okay, you're in my way.
I think. Look, first off, I think it's pretty cool that Jeff Hardy still has all these fans. It's pretty dope. But
he's great.
I still love Jeff Hardy.
He's great.
I think also a lot of people also have to understand Jeff Hardy's role in WWE now. He's probably there more just to help out backstage wise. Because there are backstage stuff that we don't see going to wrestling. So he's probably there to give advice, to help, build future talent. They're not really going to push him as they're not really going to push him as the top main eventer anymore. I mean, the only reason, and it really has nothing to do with age, because Bobby Lashley's the champ. He's 44, but Bobby Lashley's never had that push. You know what I mean? So he's never really had that.
You can thank MVP for that.
The closest he got was the WrestleMania 23 match against Umaga, the hair versus hair bull crap.
Yeah, and you can't even compare like Goldberg and because those are bigger names. Unfortunately, they just are. When you come to wrestling, those are like bigger names. So, like I said, I wouldn't be against Jeff Hardy getting another push, but it was just he's not. Who would you want
him to go after though? Like, what championship or what person would you want him to go against? I'm curious.
See, I don't know. There's really looking at Jeff Hardy right now, they would have to build him up for me where I can believe he can compete for a title like that again. Because right now, he's getting destroyed by Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. So I don't see.
He just lost to Sheamus.
Yeah. So, excuse me. They would have to build him up correctly. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. But I've been thinking about this lately. We'll see what you guys think about this. So we know right now. I'll read this comment right here real quick. So I need to get Mitri in here. Look, Mitri's been on my podcast many times. Mitri's he's one of the bros, man. Me and Mitri we tight. So Mitri will definitely be on here again soon. Somebody said MVP is the GOAT.
Yes, he is. That's
something cool about MVP and Lashley is that he was also in like a group with Lashley when he won the Impact World title.
Mm-hmm.
And so now and it's kind of that's really cool. MVP played a big part for both his world titles.
Have you guys seen my video that I posted about MVP? How I feel like he doesn't get enough credit. I love MVP.
I didn't know.
I seen it. So actually we'll go into this. So how would you book the Fiend after his shoot with Randy? So I was thinking of ways, because I don't know about you guys, but I really fucking love what Alexa Bliss is doing right now. I think it's a really dope character.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, this is the most interested I've ever been in her since her career. She's doing, I think, her best work. And I would like to see them continue to build more people with the Fiend. I think you can use other people that you're not going to do nothing with.
Yeah.
Why not put the Riot Squad in there with them? Do something with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, because number one, I think Liv Morgan has potential. I always thought she had talent.
Yeah.
She's really good.
And Ruby Riot has talent too, but they never do. What is the Riot Squad at this point? They don't push them. They never really won the tag titles, so they're not going to really do anything with them. I feel like character-wise, maybe they could fit into that, because Ruby Riot has a good look as far as dark white. She got tattoos and everything. And she got her hair dyed. And Liv Morgan, I feel like it could also play into a factor in that. And then you can build people around for maybe you could put Jeff Hardy in there with the Fiend. Jeff Hardy could be like fucking Nero or something, And
there's like a good amount of people that say, hey, well, what about putting him as Brother Nero? Or not Brother Nero, as Willow. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't like Willow, but if it's something different, so.
My only thing is that I liked Willow, but if you look at how they did Broken Matt and TNA compared to what WWE did with them, it wasn't the same. It wasn't nearly as good. You know what I mean? So WWE.
Yeah. Well, and then Matt Hardy just came out and said in an interview that when he started doing the broken stuff in AEW, it just didn't fit. That's why he's not doing it anymore. It's ran its course. It's done.
So how would you guys? First off, we'll start with how would you book the Fiend coming back? Me personally, I don't know if you guys see my videos, but I said they should keep him off until WrestleMania. Don't have him come back until the day of WrestleMania, especially because there's rumors. I'm sure you guys seen it, but there's rumors that he's supposed to have this new look. He's supposed to have this new.
Makes sense. He got burned. I feel like that's what they're going with, because it feels like they did like the burning, like made the Fiend's soul free or something. I don't know. Alexa felt like she was gonna do that whole Fiend stuff at Rumble until Rhea eliminated her. They had the whole lights going off, but it was in her way. It wasn't like blackness. It was like purple, and everything was getting different. It's happened a few times now with her doing that, and it hasn't fully. So there's a few times I thought maybe she'd become the new Fiend for a little bit, and then he'd come back as something. I don't know, but I feel he'll be a whole new look too. It only makes sense.
If he comes back with a new look, I feel like he should come back the day of WrestleMania. And what I would like to see, number one, you could continue to have Randy and Alexa build up themselves. You don't really need what they're doing right now is pretty cool. I like the fucking Randy's being.
It's not like when it was Undertaker and Bray that one for WrestleMania 31, and the only build was on Bray's side, and that made it really kind of lackluster build up.
Yeah. With these two building it up, you can just say like one day on Raw, say Raw at the Fastlane, you could have Alexa say like he's coming back at WrestleMania or some shit like that. Like the Fiend's coming back, and Randy, could be against, the Fiend's never coming back. I got rid of him, but then maybe you could say something where Randy's like, maybe if the Fiend is coming back, tell him that he can at WrestleMania. I think their match should be at Hell in a Cell. For one, they had just had a fucking insane. What is it, Firefly Inferno match where a man literally got set on fire. We saw Randy get shot in the face we saw him get shot in the face with a fireball, and we've seen this man be poisoned now. So this man has also been poisoned. So they're kind of, it's not really like edgy, but they're going they're doing good things with the feud that makes sense. And doing it in Hell in a Cell, I think could be a good way to end it. Both guys got to go to hell. Only one guy can come out and win. And
I feel like it's going to be a cinematic match.
You think so?
Yeah.
Somebody's connection just went out.
I feel like we're gonna get maybe we'll get another Firefly Funhouse match like Cena had last year. I don't know. I feel like we're getting cinematic though with those two.
But with fans being there, you think the cinematic match will work this time with an audience, or?
No, I think it'll be pre-recorded, so it'd be something they'd have to watch on the screens.
See, a lot of people didn't like because they did. Remember Orton and Bray did one. They did the what was it, the fucking House
when
Horrors.
He burned down the shack and all that. Yeah,
but a lot of people thought that was trash.
Well, because it wasn't what we hadn't seen really anything like that yet. So I think now that we've seen more because the Boneyard match, in my opinion, was pretty good. It wasn't like a match, so I don't consider it a wrestling match, but it was entertaining. For what it was good. It was
amazing. I fully.
And the fact that it ended night one, it made night one feel incredible.
it was amazing. I really enjoyed that.
So I feel like maybe they'll do, because Bray faced Randy, WrestleMania 33, 32, 34, 33. I don't remember.
It's 33.
And that was a garbage match.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So I don't feel like we're going to get another match between the two. I feel like we're going to get something different.
A cinematic match can work. If it's done right, I'm not against it. I mean, if it's done correctly, then for sure, I'll totally be against it. As far as what the Fiend does afterwards, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know what the Fiend and Randy do after this. I don't want to see him go after the title. I know that. I think he should stay away from the belt. So maybe the Fiend goes into a new feud with like Drew McIntyre. Maybe Drew McIntyre, hopefully, I would like to see him lose. I think Bobby Lashley should be pushed as champion for a while, and then maybe the Fiend can go after Drew for a while. We haven't seen that feud yet, so maybe they can do something with that. And she's back in here.
There we go. We back.
Something happened to your computer? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, barely.
Dude, what the fuck is going on with my internet right now?
Wah.
Connection's going bad. Yeah.
Oh, there it dropped again.
So let's talk about this. Let's move on. Thoughts on AEW's new signing? We talked about this. Honestly, Aaron, I have no idea.
No clue. I mean, I can speculate all I want, but no matter who I say, there hasn't been a name that I'm like, wait a minute, yeah. But it's really could be anyone. I really don't know. One thing that I love is, I was telling Malik this, is that someone in my comments on one of my videos about it said, watch it be the ultimate heel turn and it be Big Show himself. I'm like, I'll be okay with that. Like, at least it's a decent heel turn.
It'd probably be Big Show. Maybe somebody like I could see maybe like maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I can hear you. Something happened to your computer?
Yeah, my internet went down, so now I have to be on my phone. I guess our Wi-Fi went down.
That sucks.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Your video's a little laggy, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
As long as you can hear me until I get this fixed, that's all.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know who it could be though. Honestly, I don't know who could possibly come. But there's nobody that's like Josh said. There's nobody sticks out of my mind where I'm like 100% sold on. Like, oh, it's gonna be this guy. Like, I honestly have no clue. I really don't. That's intriguing. They built up a lot of hype to it though, because they said Hall of Fame worthy talent. So
I actually have a quote from because Tony Khan did their AEW restricted podcast, and I was doing a podcast a bit ago, so I had saved this quote that I could read. So it's really interesting because I thought maybe this would help me narrow it down if I read it live on air without reading it, but it didn't help me. But it's interesting what Tony says. He says he told the world it's true that there's going to be a big star sign with AEW. He's coming here, and it's absolutely true what Paul said. This Sunday, a major star in the world of wrestling, a huge star, is going to come and sign a multi-year contract on Sunday at the pay-per-view. So I can confirm what Paul said is true. And this person is not in the ladder match. This is not the random sixth person in the ladder match. That is someone completely different. The person that we're talking about that is signing a multi-year contract with AEW is the person that Paul is referencing, and it will not be in that ladder match. So we're getting two surprises.
I don't know. It could be for either or. I have no idea. I really don't.
I don't. The only people like I feel like the ladder match will have someone probably from another indie Impact, scene, NWA, whatever. But I don't know who Paul White's talking about. No clue.
Can we talk about though how entertaining Shaq was on Wednesday though? That was incredible.
I loved how excited he was after he powerbombed Cody. He looked so excited and proud that he did that, and I was so happy for him.
He was having a lot of fun, and much respect to the table bump, bro. I did not see that coming. That was like, oh,
no one did. I marked out for that big time.
Table bump was pretty dope, man. And it seems like they may be doing something else. If you saw like the little end when he was in the ambulance, and all of a sudden he wasn't in the ambulance again.
He never gave us an update after that. He disappeared, and we never got an update.
One way or the other, he's facing Big Show. They're gonna have a match.
No way that they don't do that match.
They definitely will have a match. And for what the tag team match was, I thought he was very entertaining. It wasn't like the best match, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be entertainment value. And I thought it was.
No, yeah, I got sucked out of it a lot from Jade, slow taunts, and a lot of other things. But yeah, no, Shaq kept me entertained.
Somebody said AEW for Brock Lesnar. I don't think it'll be Brock Lesnar. Somebody said AEW for Aleister Black. Maybe Aleister Black. We haven't seen him for a while.
Dude, I would mark. Actually, one person that my friend said earlier today was Zelina Vega. And, I could slightly see that, but I don't think she's Hall of Fame worthy at this point.
Yeah.
See, that's what sucks is they said Hall of Fame worthy. That really makes me think I'll take a lot of people out of my list.
This is a question from Tyler. Favorite version of The Undertaker?
Dead Man.
Mine would be Ministry Taker. Ministry Taker.
I loved Ministry Taker theme song, but just straight up Dead Man Taker, best.
Dead Man Taker is great. American Badass is I like all.
I love the American Badass too. I love that. Ooh, shoot, she keeps dropping.
No, she just switched. She just switched back to the.
Oh, she got it fixed. Okay, cool.
I was fixing my Wi-Fi. Sorry.
Thought you dropped again. I was like, damn.
Well, we have two networks in our apartment, and I think someone got into our first one because it happens all the time, and so I just signed it my second. Someone always steals our Wi-Fi. I don't know why.
Hey, rumors it could be Christian. Maybe it could be Christian.
I just looked up because I'd got an alert because I get alerts from all these random sites. I have this IFTT push notification set up on my phone. But Wrestling Inc., and they're not the best website, but they're reporting that Christian signed a new contract after the Rumble. What were the other two names that they dropped that people were speculating on? I think Cena was one, but they of course said Cena is still signed, even though it was reported his contract was expired last year or something. And someone else was signed to WWE, so they were taking away 3 names. So Christian was one on that list. He's still with WWE.
Oh wow.
Some people answer some of your more guys' questions. What are your thoughts on Bobby Lashley? I'll let you start, Renee, because you've been cutting off. So.
Oh, okay. I'll start this. I just posted a video about it the other day. So I'm not the biggest Bobby Lashley fan, but I am happy for him that his career went from having weird segments with Lana to where he is now.
A whole year later.
I think he's very talented, and honestly, I feel like he wouldn't really be where he is right now if it wasn't for MVP making him what he is. Same with Cedric Alexander and Sheldon Benjamin. So I'm happy he's champ. I just wish The Miz would have kept it longer than a week. That made me so mad because I love The Miz, and the fact that he only had it for a week is just a disgrace to the 10, 12 years that he's been in this company. At least in my opinion, it is. But Bobby Lashley is cool. He's a really nice person. I've met him. He's super nice, but he's not my favorite wrestler. So
I'm excited for Lashley.
Are you? I hope he really gets pushed really well. I hope it's not he doesn't fall back down to the Lana drama because I don't think anybody cared about that.
I
so.
always have to cheer for my fellow Coloradians. So he's from Colorado Springs, not too far from me. So
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
yeah. So that, and then just that, I think he's a really good wrestler. I really got back into him when he was in Impact, and him and Drew had a great match. I think it was Bound for Glory.
Yep, I watched.
Oh my god, it was so good. So when they had that match about a month ago, I was like stoked, and then it like ended in stupidness. But I'm kind of thinking that's what we're getting at WrestleMania. Drew and Bobby. I feel like that's
really.
where I go.
Yeah, I'm happy for Bobby too, man. I always like Bobby Lashley, especially in Impact. If you like I said, his Impact run was pretty good. He was
amazing.
Sure.
It was so good.
He was looking really dominant in Impact, as he should have. And when he came back,
he was doing MMA at the same damn time as Impact too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And Bobby Lashley, even though Bobby Lashley is 44, he looks like a freaking genetic machine, bro. Like
he doesn't even look 44, so good for him.
This guy looks like a monster, bro, and I think he should be pushed heavily. I do feel bad for Miz too, though, because I was never the big Miz fan at the beginning of his career, but he grown on me. I have gained a lot of respect for him over the years, especially after making the Intercontinental Championship big again for television. And I do feel bad that he only got to hold it for a week, but Miz unfortunately was his temporary champion. And
I'm hoping that it wasn't one of those empty promises we always hear about from Vince, like, no, I'll just do this and I'll give it, because there's so many stories about people getting empty promises from Vince McMahon.
Well, I think one thing about
it is why they took it off of Otis and gave it to the Miz. Like,
I lost interest in Otis having that. I felt like he's not ready for a main event scene yet.
Yeah, first
they could have gave it to somebody else instead of making Otis win Money in the Bank. They could have gave it to someone else.
I feel like since it was COVID, they were going for shock value ratings.
I think Otis was kind of hot at the time with the Mandy Rose story.
Oh yeah, that was one of their better stories.
Yeah. That whole thing with Dolph and Sonya and all of them, that shit was entertaining. I loved it.
Otis should have never won though. I mean, nobody could see Otis being WWE champion.
He won too. Didn't AJ have it, and then it just like slipped out into Otis's hands? It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Exactly
it was so bad.
I hope. I think it's going to be Drew versus Bobby WrestleMania 2, and I hope Bobby Lashley wins. We already know WWE is pretty high on Drew McIntyre. They've been pushing him really hard since last year.
Yeah.
And I love Drew McIntyre too, but I think Bobby Lashley has to be pushed and be legitimately looked at as a main event talent, main event star. That way, when he loses the belt, he doesn't lose that steam behind him. Because there are things you can find Drew McIntyre to do. Like I said, why not put him with the Fiend when the Fiend's feud is over with Randy? It's something new, something fresh. We haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Or even his thing with him and fucking Sheamus had a great match on Raw. Incredible. So I put him Sheamus something. AJ Styles, find something for him to do. I think Bobby should keep it for a little bit, especially with him being for MVP, because a lot of people really want to see the Bobby and Brock Lesnar match. My only issue with that is I wouldn't be against it, but I feel like they wouldn't book it right, because if you saw how the matches that Brock had with Samoa Joe, like Braun Strowman, the bigger guys, he doesn't put effort into them. He not only beats them, but he also destroys them in the match. And their steam never looks the same. After he beat Samoa Joe's steam fell off a little bit, and then he beat Braun Strowman not once but twice. And then once he beat him in Saudi Arabia, he gave him
did the same to Dean at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dean,
so
it was supposed to be like a hardcore match. I don't remember what kind of match, but Dean like had all these weapons and he just got his butt kicked. Like it didn't matter what he did, he got his butt kicked.
So if it's booked right, then look, Paul Heyman versus MVP on the mic. Sign me up for it. I'm watching that shit. I'm there for it. It'd be incredible.
Yeah.
But as far as the match has to be done right though. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar go in there and destroy Bobby Lashley. I don't even want to see Bobby Lashley destroy Brock Lesnar. I want to see a physical, athletic combat between the two. Both got MMA. Yeah. Even put a little MMA in there. Both got MMA backgrounds, so put a little MMA in there. Mix it up. You know what I mean? I would like to see a legit match between the two. And Brock usually has his best matches with the smaller guys, as we saw from Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Finn Balor. He put effort into those matches, and those matches were great. Mm. But when he faced believable guys like Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, where the fans thought legitimately, like, okay, these guys are believable enough where I think they could dethrone Brock as the monster of WWE, he destroys them. And Bobby Lashley has the look, and he has a lot of momentum right now. And when I'm looking at Bobby Lashley right now compared to Brock Lesnar, I believe Bobby could beat Brock Lesnar as what he is right now. But if he goes in there and he just completely destroys Bobby Lashley, that's going to ruin everything for him. So
I will.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the ship has sailed for this match too. It should have happened in 2018.
Yeah, I don't understand why did they have this man beat Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules, and then all of a sudden on Raw, I was at the Raw when they made the stipulation of, the winner gets to face Brock at SummerSlam or something like that, and then Roman Reigns won. What was the entire point of Bobby Lashley even beating him in the first place? That was pointless. Like that made no sense whatsoever.
They just totally killed what they started immediately. I have no idea why they did that.
We talked about it off air. It's like WWE does things like, oh no, we're not doing that anymore. Just forget about it. It's like they think we're supposed to forget about things. Like, oh, they'll forget about that. You know what I mean? Like they won't remember. No.
Renee, do you remember for the Attitude Era, the way they essentially kicked it off was Vince McMahon saying that they knew that the fans were tired of them insulting their intelligence. There's literally a video that started Raw, Vince saying that we know that you're tired of us insulting your intelligence with our stories. It's a known thing. Like they know they do.
They know it. They just don't care.
Yeah.
But there are things to do. I think there are things you can do WWE wise where WWE can do things to piss us off. Okay, that's fine, but don't all the time though. Like you got to give us both. You got to mix it up, man. That's why.
But see, then you also got to think of the other side though, because when Triple H and Stephanie came out and said, "Okay, we're going to do what you guys want. It's up to the fans." I believe that it was because the whole Kofi Mania thing is what everyone wanted. Right. And I feel like at that WrestleMania, it was like everyone that we wanted to won at that WrestleMania. And I feel like that's because they finally listened to us at that one moment. And then after that, it was
WrestleMania 35. I feel because that was a really long Mania. And
it really was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
After the match, after Kofi and Daniel, I feel like the pay-per-view fell off energy-wise from the crowd because they wasted all their energy. And then it was a 7-hour fucking event. Yeah. So that didn't help either. But I was not a fan of the main event. Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte was very lackluster.
How do you feel about, since WrestleMania's been so long, how do you feel about WrestleMania being 2 nights moving forward?
Love it.
I'm for it.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm for
Love
it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally for it.
I'm tired of 5-6 hour pay-per-views.
Yeah, that makes sense because you start losing interest in it halfway through.
If you add the pre-show in there,
yeah.
So it's one thing. Look, we're all huge wrestling fans, but to watch a 7-hour show, man, it's one thing. The eras we grew up in, WrestleManias were 3-4 hours tops, right? All solid WrestleMania. If you look at WrestleMania from like WrestleMania 17 to WrestleMania 24, they're all good WrestleManias, all solid WrestleManias, all have memorable moments. You know what I mean? They
iconic moments, really.
They have iconic moments, yeah. And then you look at later in the years, the long WrestleManias, they just don't sit well because fans lose energy. I know people who have gone to those WrestleManias and said, like, bro, like, we left at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, why is WrestleMania ending at 1 a.m.? Like, you should be talking about WrestleMania.
When it was the last time it was at MetLife Stadium, I believe they even had to pay, or like the city had to keep their public transportation open later because they almost had a debacle with like people who took no way to go home.
Mm-hmm. I think a 2-night event would be best because now you look at the card. I mean, WWE has a lot of talent. They have to try to fit on the card. So, I mean,
it's understandable. Yeah, totally understandable why
not make it 2 nights? And I think if they should, I pray they probably won't do it, but if they make it 2 nights, I want to see Money in the Bank come back to WrestleMania, and you could have the men's for 1 night and the women's for the second night.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I hate gimmick pay-per-views, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber. I loved when they would just randomly happen to top off a feud. Now we know when it's going to happen for the most part, except for Mania will have a Hell in a Cell here and there or whatever. But
if you look at all the best, Hell in a Cell matches, all the best ones were for when they made sense. Shawn and Taker, the first one, incredible, first time ever, okay, whatever. Triple H, Cactus Jack. That was an incredible Hell in a Cell match because that was a legit feud that they had at
McFoley's. They've been feuding for years at that point.
Seth versus Dean was a really good Hell in a Cell match there too. I went to that and it was really good.
Seth versus Dean was a good one.
That was 2017?
Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. They had a 2-year feud, a 2-year entire feud, and that feud ends in a Hell in a Cell. Triple H and Batista. They had a big feud. When Evolution imploded, their match ended in Hell in a Cell. So, I mean, it makes sense for these matches when it makes sense. Hell in a Cell is supposed to have that aura. We're like, oh, shit, Hell in a Cell. Same with the Chamber. Elimination Chamber, too, man. Like, I like when you don't know when they're going to happen. Like, I don't like.
Yeah, like Chamber bounced around. It was like randomly on New Year's Revolution or it'd be on Survivor Series or whatever, Bad Blood. It'd always randomly show up, Chamber. And I miss that. Because now we always know when everything's going to happen. And it's like, well, then this feud's going to end at this pay-per-view in 2 months. That just only makes sense. It's been their top feud. Like, it's almost predictable almost every year now.
There's a question here about Dolph that I really want to answer.
Do it.
It says, thoughts on Dolph Ziggler. Should he leave WWE or should he stay? Personally, I want him to stay. If those who don't know, I'm actually friends with him and he's really nice. I think he's an amazing talent. I feel like they're not using him correctly, and I wish that they would use him correctly. Like, he's part of a tag team champ, and when was the last time that they've defended the titles? Or the last time that they've
I don't think they've even defended it once yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and then have you noticed that Robert Roode is the one that's always winning all the matches? So I feel like that's going to lead to like Robert Roode turning on him somehow. I just feel like they could do so much more with them two as a tag team, and I don't think that they're doing enough for that. And like, yes, Dolph has been in this business for a very long time, but he's also one of the best technical wrestlers that WWE has ever seen. Like, I'm sorry, but just in my opinion, he's never hurt someone in his career. He's amazing in the freaking ring, and I just feel like more people should realize that. And I'd like to see him as WWE champion. I mean, do you guys remember when he cashed in on Del Rio? Like the energy in that place was insane.
I was part of, I mean, of course, the online wrestling community that wanted, like, why is it, everyone's like, why is it taking this long? Like, why didn't he cash in at Mania? People lost their minds that he didn't cash in the night before. And then out he comes for that. And I was just like the crowd. I probably jumped up and down like, oh, it's finally. Because even JBL, finally.
Right?
Like, that's so iconic. Like, that whole moment to me. I just get goosebumps now. I'm not even joking.
It looks like a joke, and it makes me so mad. But I mean, I'm happy he's a tag team champion, and I also think Robert Roode has an amazing career. Like, I watched him in TNA. You know, I watched him when he was in Fear Money, which I don't know if you guys remember that, but I love Robert Roode. I think it's stupid they changed his name.
It makes no sense. I have no idea why they changed him just to draw heat. It made no sense to me.
I'll say first, I love Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler.
Thank you.
To me, Dolph Ziggler, probably the most underrated superstar ever, man.
Yeah,
this guy is extremely good. But he's never been WWE champion. They're never gonna push him.
I know, I just wish they would.
They would never, they're never going to push him as that talent because he's just
I feel the answer is not always for the people to leave the company.
Yeah, I'm not saying he should leave, but as far as him being pushed, he's one of those talents where WWE just uses him for, because he's really good at what he does, and they just use him to help get over other talent. And
I agree, yeah. For sure.
They probably pay him a lot of money, which is good for Dolph Ziggler. He gets paid very well. So same for Bobby Roode too, man. Bobby Roode is one of those talents from TNA that came from NXT where I really was pissed off when they didn't really push him to be one. He could have been one of their top heels for one of their brands.
Over in NXT,
and he could have easily been one of their top heels once he came to the main roster. They could have utilized him because we saw his heel work in TNA when he was the It Factor, Bobby Roode, and he was doing some of his best shit when he was feuding with James Storm and all those people. Man, he was doing great shit, man. So, it really upsets me. I can understand why some of the talent they don't push when they come to the main roster because then everybody's going to get pushed. But Bobby Roode was one of those people that I really wanted to get pushed. He could have been one of the best heels. He could have been main event talent, and they didn't utilize him.
Yeah, for sure.
Dolph Ziggler, though, I wouldn't be mad if Dolph Ziggler left. Though if he left, he left. I wouldn't be mad if he stayed. I'm not going to be mad if he stayed either. So
I feel like almost every year for the last 3 years there was rumors of his contract expiring. I feel like every year I've always heard that.
Mm-hmm. They always ask him too at his comedy shows because he does comedy shows during like WrestleMania week and stuff. And like, he's like, I can't even tell you how many people have asked me, when are you leaving? Like, or are you ever going to leave? And it's just like, I bet that has to kind of sting, to be like, hey, I know you've been in this company for over a decade, but when are you leaving? Because you're not getting used correctly. Like, I'm kind of just curious how he feels in that. Like, is he like mad that people keep asking that? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of get annoyed that.
Because I'd be like, I've been in this company for over a decade and that's what you're going to ask me? Like,
true, right?
I
kind of hate when like people have titles or it's a title that they don't want them to have and they're like they're not being used correctly or not just that, they'll basically be like they're not using them at all, like they're just burying them. I'm like, they're a freaking champion. Like they were doing that with Cesaro. People were like, Cesaro deserves better. I'm like, but he's a tag team champion. That should mean something. What do you mean? Like that should actually put him in a good spot.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like, well, I don't want him in a tag team. I'm like, okay, well then he's not in a bad spot.
Right. I think another thing has to do with though WWE doesn't take their tag team division seriously.
They tried to when they had like all that. They had a good squad for a while. They had Enzo and Cass. You had the Vaudevillains. You had FTR, the Revival. You had DIY. You had New Day, Usos. Like there was such a stacked division at one point in time, and I was so excited for it. And then and the Good Brothers, they had and then they released them all. AOP,
the Bar too. Oh, the Bar.
NXT. That like 3-year stint, NXT had insane tag teams, and they all got put up to the main roster. American Alpha, like oh my gosh, so many teams, and they messed them all up.
God, they had fucking American Alpha and Enzo and Cass and FTR,
Usos, yeah, New Day. They had so
DIY,
many teams,
AOP, man.
they were stacked for a long time.
They really were, yeah.
And
they were
then they
stacked.
let it all fail.
So I think what about feel about this? What is your favorite era WWE?
Attitude Era, 100%.
It's hard for me because, like I was saying before, like I have so much nostalgia for the New Generation era, like the mid '90s. But I loved the Attitude Era, and I actually really enjoyed the Ruthless Aggression era. Like I have nostalgia, but I have to go with New Generation. Seeing Shawn Michaels rise, that's what drew me in as a fan. So I have to always go with that.
Mine would be Ruthless Aggression. Ruthless Aggression era would be mine.
I go back on the network and I'll watch like the '95 Rumble. Or like when Shawn won the first time, it's probably one of the worst Royal Rumbles you'll ever watch.
Ever, man. It's terrible.
It's so bad. It has the worst talent. There's like 6 big names. The rest are all jobbers. NWA talent that they brought in. It is so bad, but I love it because Shawn Michaels won the Rumble. Other than that, it's a terrible match.
It's so. This question right here. What do you think about Goldberg?
Yeah.
Past his prime.
Past his prime for sure. I guess talking about
he can still do it, but it's not as entertaining as it once was for him.
No, it'll never be the same. Well, when he first came back against Brock, it was cool, but after that, it was different. But I'll say this: Goldberg right now definitely past his prime. Me, in my opinion, though, Goldberg in the prime of his career, one of the best characters ever, bro. I don't care what anybody says. My opinion.
That was like one of the first times we've had an undefeated streak in wrestling like that.
He was never the best wrestler, but the Goldberg character was never meant to be the best wrestler because he just destroyed people. That's what he did. He was so powerful that he could win. That was literally. And it was super believable, and fans went insane when he used to beat. Fans used to love when he used to fucking beat people in two seconds. Like, okay, we love it.
People always talk about how bad WCW was at like eventually like running their business, but one thing that was crazy to me, because this was bad business by them, but it tells you how popular Goldberg was, is that they booked that episode of like where it was at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium at the time. They booked that a week in advance for that stadium. It wasn't scheduled originally there. They booked it, filled 40,000 seats in less than a week. That's really insane.
That's insane. And Goldberg was really over back then. I think, like I said, in ring wise, he was never meant to be one of the best wrestlers because that's not what his character was. But his character is one of the best ever. His entrance, it was sick, bro. Mm-hmm. Coming from the back, standing through the flames, and breathing the smoke out of him after that fucking Goldberg thing. With
every now and again, he'd have the little cut from hitting his head on the door.
I always thought it was dope when he was standing in the flames and he would legitimately inhale the flames, the smoke from the flames, and breathe out of his nose, and then he'd do that. He'd do that thing with his face, that Goldberg thing, and then the pyro would go off and shit. And he was like,
like he was flipping a switch.
His character was legit, bro. He was so believable. You looked at Goldberg back in his day.
140 something before the new
173.
Order. Yeah,
173-0.
Scott Hall had to tase him. That butthole.
And plus, before that backstory, a lot of people also have to know is that if you've never seen Goldberg's work in WCW, Goldberg was actually very athletic. He used to do like backflips in the ring and shit, and he would fucking like.
Back in his prime, Brock Lesnar used to do similar shit.
Back in his prime, he would gorilla press people over his head, and then he would fucking throw him in the air and like fucking slam him. Like he was fucking intense, bro. Like
did he do a version of that to freaking Big Show Giant? It wasn't as impressive, but he like
did a jackhammer.
He just did the jackhammer. Yeah, and he held him for like a good 2 seconds and then let him down.
It was crazy. Goldberg was insane in his prime. By far one of the best characters ever, but now he's just old now, man. I mean, he's past his prime. It was cool when he came back against Brock. It was cool. I
get tired of seeing 4-minute matches with him dripping sweat afterwards, looking like he's about to have a heart attack. I don't want to see that anymore.
But actually, part of the problem is that part of the problem with that is I've seen interviews where he's talking about that, and he's like, bro, like when WWE calls me, they give me like a 3-week notice, like, hey, we need you in 3 weeks to be at the show. And I'm like, he's like in his 50s, bro. Like, you gotta give him like months advance so he can train.
Because I think he said his contract is like he has a contract for a while. I don't know the length, but he had said it's for 2 appearances a year.
Yeah, and they said they'll literally call him 3 weeks ahead of time before his match. I'm like, this dude's 54. Like this dude's 54. Like you got to give him at least 4 months advance so he can.
It totally felt like Roman Goldberg was a last minute put together thing too, and then it didn't happen, obviously. But I mean, they started it from Rumble, didn't they?
It was the Saudi Arabia show when he beat him after the Rumble.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, it felt really last second.
One way or the other, that match is gonna happen though. That match happened.
Well, did you see like 2 weeks ago on SmackDown? I don't know if it was like Matt Riddle or someone. They were like filming them in the gorilla, like before they make their entrance, and like randomly a text came up that said WrestleMania or said Roman versus Goldberg WrestleMania package, and then it faded out. It was like a really random text that appeared on like 2 weeks ago on SmackDown.
Didn't see that.
I don't know if it was just something they had saved from last year, because I mean we already know that Roman's not facing him this year.
Another backstory real quick before the Goldberg thing. So I don't know if you guys seen the Untold on the WWE Network about Goldberg and DDP when it talks about the taste thing. It's fucking crazy. So Goldberg, the idea was, that we know like this little shock thing and everything, like it was like a little stun gun like that. Goldberg actually pitched the idea he wanted to get tased with a real taser. He said like because back then he was so believable, and he was like, bro, like that's the only way they're gonna fucking be able to beat me is if they tase my ass for real with a legit taser. And they were terrifying. And they shut that down quick. It was like, Goldberg, there's no way we can fucking do that. That's insane. And so even after when he was making the interview, he was like, still to this day, I think it would have been a great idea. I'm like, you're fucking insane. Like you wanted to get tased? Like that's crazy, bro. Like,
that's not as crazy as Goldust actually wanting to get breast implants for the Goldust character, like real breast implants.
Oh my god.
He even says like I would have done it. Like I probably would have regretted it, but I would have still done it today.
I'm happy. I'm happy Vince McMahon shut that down. I'm happy.
Yes, Vince shut that down right away. Thankfully,
no fucking way.
Vince was like, "That's too much." No.
Thoughts on Bianca Belair? What do you
I love her. I love her so much.
Yep.
I'm really torn between this match, bro. Because Sasha Banks is my favorite women's wrestler in WWE, but Bianca Belair, she has to get pushed to be one of the next big stars for the women's division. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because Sasha Banks has never had her WrestleMania moment, right? And she never even won a WrestleMania match. But Bianca Belair, I think they have to continue to push her too because
I think she's gonna win.
Yeah, they have to. To me, I want to see them build new stars for the women's division because you can't keep relying on the 4 horsewomen to carry the division forever. Because people are getting tired of seeing Sasha versus Becky. People are getting tired of seeing Charlotte versus fucking Sasha Banks. Like we've seen these matches. So many times.
And Alexa. That's why I was so happy to see Alexa go on to the Fiend stuff because it took her out of that title stuff, and I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
I actually thought she was going to win the Rumble, though. I really thought she was going to win the Women's Rumble this year.
I did too. I did.
Yes,
I did too. Alexa, it's funny because Alexa was my original pick, but Bianca, so I wanted to win, and Rhea Ripley was my wild card. I was like, don't sleep on Rhea Ripley because she could possibly.
I picked her right away. I was like, I love her.
I thought they were going to pull the trigger because they finally had been doing something with her and Bayley that gave me hope, but then it was really bad, and I was like, oh god, I don't have the hope that she's going to win the Rumble now. But she did, so I was happy.
All right, so do you guys want to see her win at WrestleMania? Think she should win?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
So.
I do.
I feel like you said, it's time to move on to new top stars for the women.
Thoughts on Mania 37 so far? So we know that we got Edge versus Roman, which I really want to see. We got Sasha versus Bianca, which I'm cool for. The other match they haven't announced yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Fiend versus Randy Orton, which they haven't announced. I'm sure Bobby and Drew are going to happen. And I'm sure they're going to do that.
Some variation.
I'm sure.
I have a feeling that Kofi Kingston and Ali are going to fight at WrestleMania I think that Mustafa Ali is going to take the title off of Matt Riddle. And I think he's going to start feuding with Kofi because do you guys remember when Kofi Mania happened? That was supposed to be Mustafa Ali's moment, and then it never happened for him. So I feel like they're going to bring that back, and then them two are going to fight for the title at Mania. I think that's going to happen. I think that would be cool to see because I love Mustafa Ali. I think that he should win a title. I think that he should be bigger than what Retribution was supposed to be. So there's a rumor that's not.
Have you all? Well, I'm glad you brought that up because him for a while, Kofi and Mustafa were like posting like these little Twitter battles, these little social media battles, like promos about that situation.
Yeah,
and I was like, they should do a match with the two at WrestleMania. It would make so much sense. The story's already there to tell for it.
Because right now he's in a feud with Matt Riddle. It's they're trying to start a feud between him and Mustafa Ali. And I think he's going to take the title. Like, I think they're going to fight at Fastlane and he's going to take the title. And then he's going to feud with Kofi. And then they're going to fight at WrestleMania. And it'd be like kind of like Kofi Mania 2 or whatever, except this time Mustafa Ali is going to get his moment. So
I feel like we're going to get a multi-man match for the US title.
Really? I don't want that.
Yeah, they're gonna do
or the IC. It might be the IC. I don't know. It's either or.
It might be both. WrestleMania's 2 nights, so it might be both. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
Because last year we had that was supposed to be a tag team match, but then something happened where it made it a triple threat.
Yeah.
It was like Morrison.
was,
It turned into like Morrison, one of the Usos, and someone else. Like
Oh,
Roode,
yeah,
Ziggler, someone.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that got like changed like last minute.
Yeah.
They're gonna do some type of multi-match. I mean, they're gonna try to fit so many people on the card at once. So that's why I said they need to bring back Money in the Bank. Bring back. Money in the Bank to
I like
WrestleMania.
your idea, the Renee, Mustafa Ali and Kofi would be great. I think that'd be a good
They
story.
really would.
It would.
It would.
I'm very mad that they dropped the whole hacker thing because obviously we all knew Mustafa Ali was the hacker.
Mhm.
I wish they would have continued that and made that like bigger into something because they made me so excited for that storyline and then they just dropped it and it was like okay like
Typical WWE.
and then Mustafa Ali says that he was the hacker and nobody cared
Yeah.
like nobody reacted to it. I'm like,
I made a video on TikTok about it. I was like after it happened, one of my reactions, I was like, he just revealed himself as the hacker. That would have been good storytelling if people
and
cared.
no one talked about it. Nobody
Yeah.
cared, and I was like, "What is going on?"
And that's why WWE fucks with us because people forget.
Yeah, I don't.
One match I think we're getting at WrestleMania that's been really weird because they've been basically teasing it a lot is Strowman and Shane. That just makes way too much sense at this point.
Yeah,
because why would he even have Adam Pearce team with him? Like that was so stupid. Like
we're definitely having a match. I don't know why, but I mean, it's gonna be that'll be the match that where it'll be Shane because Shane has to do something great. Is jump off something.
Exactly.
So.
It's probably Vince like it's my son. He needs to be on WrestleMania.
Yeah, so.
Oh my goodness.
What is a match that so what is a match that you guys want to see at WrestleMania that hasn't been announced yet? Something that would intrigue you.
At this WrestleMania coming up, or in general?
It's WrestleMania coming up.
I don't know. I would. That is really hard. I don't know.
I don't know how you guys. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I really would like it if they did AJ Styles versus Triple H. I think it would be incredible.
I feel like they teased that one year and then it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. They did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did tease it one year. AJ Styles did a podcast and he said that he will. They said if he could choose one of his WrestleMania opponents, one of them he said would be Triple H, and with Triple H being older now, he hasn't wrestled over a year. I mean, why not, bro?
Yeah, he didn't wrestle last year. That was his first Mania he missed in a while.
I do agree that I think Seth versus Cesaro would actually be really freaking good. Like them two, their talent together. Just
and they're teasing it. So I know.
That's why I'm like, please make it happen. Like
I thought KO and Seth was really good last year. I think people forgot about that match. KO jumps off the damn WrestleMania sign. That was amazing. That was a great match.
Seth versus.
I hate his stupid Messiah character. I'm so happy he brought Burn It Down back.
What?
But it doesn't fit because now he's the Vision or whatever the heck he is.
That's drop the Messiah.
Yeah,
like no one cares about
has
that.
a vision, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no! See, I love the Messiah. I wanted to keep that
really
for a minute.
Him and Bailey's theme song sounded the same.
This version of Seth Rollins is the most I've been interested in him since 2015 because I do not like babyface Seth Rollins. I can't get behind.
I don't like babyface Seth either. I didn't like. So when Kingslayer was fine, but when he went up against Brock, I couldn't really buy into his babyface character for Brock.
I can't. His babyface gimmick is way better. He's just way better.
I also didn't like that he beat Brock in like 4 minutes. That didn't feel believable.
That's what I'm saying too.
But it's wrestling then.
He was the best cash-in of all time. Okay.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
I gotta disagree with that. Edge. Okay, the first cash-in is still the best one to me. Edge cash-in on Cena.
Am I the tiebreaker here? Because I'm actually gonna go with. I love that cash-in, by the way, but I'm gonna have to go with Seth. Nothing. You can't top a cash-in at WrestleMania during the main event. During the main event,
you can't. But the first one can never be topped because it was nobody knew it was coming. It was the most shocking thing because number one, nobody really knew how Money in the Bank could be used at the time because it never been done, and it was like right at the Chamber. Cena just went through hell, and it was like cashing in. People were like, "What? You can't steal the belt at this point, bro!" Like it was. I thought it was the best cash in ever, bro. It was like unexpected.
It's a good one though. It's really good.
It was.
It was also a really good cash in too at Money in the Bank. That was.
Oh, is that when he won it the same night and he cashed it in?
Yeah,
and Edge, he also had another one against Taker that was really good too when he cashed in on Taker too.
Wasn't Edge a part of like the majority of them until he retired? He was part of almost every cash in until he retired or some stuff.
He cashed in twice and then he won.
No, but like he was also a guy that attacked people before to help, like Punk. I think he attacked someone to help.
CM Punk cashed in on him when he won the World Cup.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, he's been a part of a lot of the cash-ins. Like if you go back to the history, he's been part of them.
I think the WrestleMania one was. I'll say the WrestleMania one was the best booked one because at the time nobody wanted Lesnar to be the champion anymore, and Roman wasn't as over as he was. So people were like, "Well, we don't want either guy's champion, so who's gonna win this match?" So Seth coming in was a good way to end that WrestleMania because it's Seth Rollins. People cheered, obviously they loved it. But the first one was just the best one to me because that's like I remember I actually watched that pay-per-view live because I was a huge Cena fan. So Cena won the Chamber, and I was 2006. I was like 8 years old. I'm like, yes, he survived. And then Vince comes out. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, the night's not over. I'm like, what the hell is this? What do you mean night's not over? He just won the match. And like I said, we didn't know how many they could be used at the time. And Edge had it for so long at this point. He almost had it for a year before he even cashed it in. And nobody knew how it could work. And he announced that Edge comes out. I'm like, and I hated Edge as a kid. I fucking can't stand Edge either, bro. So I'm like, tell me this is not happening. Edge comes out and he cashes in and steals the belt. And I honestly, my 8-year-old heart was torn in pieces.
See, well, that makes sense because you said Cena was your all-time favorite, so that makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
And it makes, you know what I'm saying? And he did the same thing with Undertaker. Undertaker's my second favorite wrestler of all time. He did the Undertaker too. I'm like, bro, how does he cash in on two of my favorite wrestlers ever?
That's
bro?
hilarious.
That's
no wonder why you hated him.
I hated Edge so much as a kid, bro. Not only did he cash in on Cena, but then he cashed in on the Undertaker, who's my second favorite wrestler ever. I felt like I had karma, bro. I'm like, dude, is this guy does he know who my favorite wrestlers are at this point? Because he's just stealing my moments from all these wrestlers. So but I do agree that the one that Seth one was pretty cool too, though, because you remember he lost to Randy early in the night with that.
Yeah, that freaking RKO. That was amazing.
So, and I actually thought the match between Brock and Roman, Brock and Roman was really good. Like that actually was probably my favorite match. Yeah. It was really that lasted. That was like a 20-minute match. It was actually really solid.
I think personally, in my opinion, I think that was the last good WrestleMania main event that I enjoyed. That I can look back on. It was like
that was the last WrestleMania I've been to, and it was 31? Definitely worth it.
Yeah,
I can't think off the top of my head of anything better recently.
Because WrestleMania 32, the main event was Triple H and Roman. Nobody cared about that.
Oh god, that's the worst.
33 was Taker and Roman. Oh my god,
really bad again.
That was bad. 34 was Brock and Roman again, which nobody cared about.
Wasn't as good as because Brock won and he was mad about it too.
Yeah, and then 35 was the women's triple threat. That was the women's triple threat.
And then last year was Boneyard and Drew versus Brock, which really wasn't.
That was the last. That was the last great WrestleMania main event where I was like really enjoyed the moment.
I'll agree with that.
But the cash, like I said, the cash in was good. There have been a lot of good cash ins. I feel like another underrated cash in was CM Punk, his second one on Jeff Hardy. That one really hurt me too, bro. I was like, damn, bro, because CM Punk was so babyface at the time, and I love CM Punk, but Jeff Hardy was really over it. He was really over this. People talking about
that was peak Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, a lot of people been wanting to get Jeff Hardy to get pushed, but that's when he was like you could argue that he was the top guy in the company, even though Cena was always the top guy, but like
he was up there on merch sales next to Cena.
Yeah. He was like
armbands, and necklaces, and all that.
Had that great theme. No More World had that great theme song too. It was like
dude, we need that back.
And he won the world title, and everybody was happy. And then CM Punk came out and cashed in and stole the moment. It was like, holy shit!
And then didn't CM Punk dress as him the next night or something?
Come out with the title after he retired him, after he beat him in that cage.
Oh, that's right, that's right. And he left. He left WWE, and he came out and CM and Hardy. So that was amazing.
That was a good cash in too, man. That was a really good cash in. Who are some of your what's up, Conrad? I see you in the chat, Conrad Cushman. Everything Pro Wrestling. Make sure you guys give him a follow. Who are some of your guys' favorite? Okay, so as a kid, name one heel that you absolutely hated as a kid. You have to have somebody that you hated as a kid. At least one person that you can say.
Psycho Sid. I fucking because I knew he was gonna beat Shawn, and he did. He took the belt off Shawn. Shawn had it.
Yeah, I would 100% have.
Sid terrified me. His song with the violin, it's terrible, terrifying as a young kid.
But you know what's funny though is that at Survivor Series, like people turned on Shawn in that match. Like people started cheering for Sid after he won. When he won, people started cheering for him.
A lot of people turned on him at SummerSlam that year too when he faced Vader. People wanted Vader to go over. Yeah. I found that out once I got older. People actually didn't want Shawn to retain. I was like, wow.
A lot of people actually got tired of Shawn a little bit. Once he got
that was like 6 months in his run too. That's crazy.
Yeah, so Psycho Sid is a pretty good answer, man. Psycho Sid,
I would agree. So
Psycho Sid has some crazy promos too, with the fucking brain promo. I think he also has some really good promos too. I think a part of his thing is he talks really fast. You know what I mean? So I loved the intro to one of his theme songs he had at one point. It's where it's just him whispering that I am the man and the master and the ruler of the world. That's what scared me the most. I was like, he's gonna murder Shawn. This guy's gonna kill him. I don't want him to die. No. And another thing people have to remember too is that Psycho Sid was he was huge. He was like 6'5" or some shit like that. He was.
And it had a good story to it. Well, for me as a young kid, it was Sean had brought Sid in after Diesel won the title and basically went babyface on him, and Sean was pissed that was supposed to be him, and so he brought in Sid as the bodyguard, and then Sid eventually turned on him and won the title. That was a great story in my little brain.
Yeah.
It's like Sid eventually came in and did the same thing.
So my fucking mom was Edge though. Hated Edge as a kid. Couldn't stand him. Hated everything about him. But who's some of your favorite heels now that you're older? Honestly, I would have to say The Miz. To me, in my opinion, the best heel of all time to me is Vince McMahon. On TV, bro, Vince McMahon heel work was incredible.
I mean, that's arguable.
I would say CM Punk, but
best heel ever.
He was an Austin. He was Austin heel. Unless you mean during the Hardy area when he was feuding Hardy, because he was a pretty big heel then.
Society.
If you mean like a heel during the McMahon feud, I feel like that wasn't really a heel. I feel like Vince was the heel there.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying like Vince, like throughout his entire work, because obviously after he screwed Bret Hart, that's when people didn't know he was the owner of WWE until after that. And once he screwed Bret Hart, he was the biggest heel in the company. And then
they found out when he attacked Vince at commentary when Bret, like this was way before. So there was like a
right.
So it started with like a cage match where Bret lost, so they had a work promo where he said this is bullshit. And he pushed Vince down, and that's when it was revealed that Vince is the CEO of WWE. And then, because then like, a few weeks later, they got into like Bret literally during some random match just came out and fucking grabbed Vince by his shirt, and they're fucking beating the shit out of each other at commentary. So, but yeah, the Bret feud did start the Mr. McMahon character.
It didn't become big until after he screwed Bret, because everybody loved Bret Hart. And when he screwed Bret, everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Well, when you see Bret go WCW at the end of your fucking pay-per-view, you know something just happened.
And then that led to one of the greatest rivalries of all time, Austin McMahon, which at the time Austin was coming up, and that was fucking huge. And Vince McMahon, his character is so easy to hate because he's the owner of the company. He has the ability to control everything. So he's to me, he's the greatest heel ever because he can do so many things that can piss you off on TV where you're like, oh, fuck you, Vince. You son of a bitch. Like, and one thing I also will respect about Vince, though, he always did some shit that he didn't need to do in the ring. He took crazy ass bumps. He got thrown off the cage once when he faced Austin. I think he had that little cage bump offside of the cage.
And he went through the table, right?
This man got destroyed. This man got destroyed by Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania in the WrestleMania match, which was insane. He also got his head shoved up Big Show's ass in the Hell in a Cell match. So he did a lot of crazy things. So I would say Vince to me would be the greatest heel ever. If it's not Vince, it's Ric Flair to me.
What about
Ric
now?
Flair. Right now, and
Kenny Omega. Don't even at me.
Really?
Kenny's pissing everyone off. He's even pissing off AEW fans, and I love it. Because he's pissing off Impact fans by always fucking talking dirty on them and defeating the world champion, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he's just being a dick to everyone. I love it. And Twitter, people will be like, I love when people say, "Oh, you're only champion because you're a VP," and then he just shreds them. He's like, "I was a VP even before I wasn't champion." Like, the fuck?
Right.
Like he'll go off on people on Twitter, and just to me it adds because then he goes full cleaner on them too.
I like Kenny Omega, MJF too. Always loved MJF's heel work.
MJF has lost a lot of his glam joining Inner Circle. Inner Circle killed him.
Definitely.
I think there's some type of story there too. Though I think maybe.
Yeah, he's gonna destroy the group essentially.
Yeah, I think it's gonna lead to him dismembering everybody in the group one by one until
he had some good one-liners last night. I will say that.
Or somebody also said though, one of my friends thinks that eventually Sammy could come back in it, and then MJF becomes the new leader, and they kick out Jericho. So like they turn on Jericho, and then MJF now is the new leader because I can see that happening. Because Jericho would do it, and he doesn't really need to be in the Inner Circle. You know what I mean? Jericho's already a fucking legend, so.
And Jericho's already been putting over everyone for the most part.
Yeah.
So.
I think that could be a cool thing. I would have to, the Miz would be up there too.
Miz is up there, 100%.
Randy Orton.
Yeah, people hate to love or love to hate him. So it
was amazing at how mad people were really when he won. When he won, yeah. They're like, that's stupid. I'm like, how did you guys think he was not going to win? He cashed in once and they gave it back. Of course he was going to win the second time.
Yeah.
Like that is no question.
I think it was just because it wasn't the way they wanted it to happen, but
I was fine with it. I thought that was great. Because literally people in my chat on Twitch were saying right before, I want Lashley to be the one to attack him. And I guess I had missed MVP and Miz talking earlier during the pay-per-view that night.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I'd missed that. So I didn't see that happen. And then surely enough, boom, gets attacked after he gets off the turnbuckle. I fucking loved it.
It was like as soon as Lashley came out, you were like, "Oh, well, the Miz is cashing in." It was like you knew. Like,
and I was so mad when Miz did not cash in at Survivor Series when Drew lost to Roman because Drew laid there for like 3 minutes.
That's what I said.
I was like, Drew is dead. Go pin him. You don't have to do a thing. And he didn't. And I was so upset that he never cashed in on him.
I would say, to me though, for me the best heel, I would have to say Roman. I would say
Kevin Owens too. I mean, I know he's face right now, but he's an amazing heel.
I'm not a fan of him as a face. He's good as a face. I'm just not a fan of him as a face.
Right now,
I like him as a heel.
Right now,
Roman's really good though.
Roman is, he's killing it. He's killing it.
That one where he like yelled into the mic a couple weeks ago, like randomly, like he was talking normally, and then he just like burst of anger and then magically calmed down. I was like, what the fuck just happened? That was amazing.
Right now,
it's crazy
Roman,
when you look at his career from when he was in the Shield to where he is now. It's so different. Like
I was gonna say earlier because we were talking about Royal Rumbles and we were talking about how Roman, like he was in the main event 31. It's ironic how the year before when it was him and Batista in the final 2 when the Shield still existed, how much everyone wanted Roman to win. And then the next year, everyone's like, "Fuck Roman."
Yeah, they were pissed. Yeah,
it was booked. It was booked the same way because
no one anticipated Roman to make the end of that year in 2015.
Daniel Bryan should have won one of those 2 Rumbles to begin with, and because he was super over at both those times. Yeah. And number one, nobody wanted Batista to win. If they should, first of all, why would they even announce his comeback? You could have just had him a surprise return at that Rumble.
I agree. That was so dumb because once he announced, everyone was like, "He's winning the Rumble."
Yeah,
it's him and Orton made way too much sense.
If he just came back as a surprise, people would have been crazy. Like, holy shit, Batista, you know what I mean? And the next year, people kind of expected Roman to win the next year too, but they wanted Daniel Bryan. And once Daniel Bryan got eliminated, people just fucking lost their mind.
Everyone had hope that he'd come back out at 30. Once it was Ray, people booed the fuck out of Ray.
Especially in Philadelphia too. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you crazy? Like,
that was when the whole Big Show and Kane thing with the final 3 with him, and then The Rock had to come out. That was the worst Rumble ending I've ever seen in my life.
They literally purposely dumped everybody. They dumped out Ziggler. They dumped out Amber. They literally purposely dumped out all the fan favorites and left it. And then Roman eliminated some of everybody. Even when they brought The Rock, they still brought The Rock. People still booed.
Well, do you remember Rock's face? He lifted his arm afterwards when he won, and like they were booing, and Rock was like, "Oh shit, okay." Yeah. Like I can't believe this didn't work.
That's crazy, bro. Like it's bad, bro. It was bad. That's the worst Rumble I've ever seen in my life. It's so bad. It was, but him coming right now. I always said though, personally, when the Shield was together, I always said that Roman Reigns was going to be the star of the Shield, just because he had the look that WWE looks for.
Yeah, everyone knows the look,
and he has the Samoan
jaw, the long hair. Like he
has the Samoan heritage background too. So I mean, it was just there for him because if the original group was CM Punk wanted to bring in Cassius Ohno and put him in the group, and they told him no, he has to be Roman Reigns. So that was another sign that they were always high on Roman Reigns because he just has to look. You look at him, he looks like a star. So it's like, oh well, Roman's going to be our guy, and they continue to push him heavily, which for years he got rejected. But right now, though, he's doing his best work though.
Some kind of breaking news: WWE just tweeted out a new title match for Fastlane. It's going to be Nia and Shayna defending their titles against Sasha and Bianca.
Again, well, this will be the official heel turn from Sasha Banks.
But So yesterday on NXT, we had the match with Dakota and Raquel versus them, and it ended really dumb. It ended with the referee got bumped by Raquel and Nia. Raquel was the legal woman, but she went out of the ring by tackling Nia, so they both were out of the ring. The ref was down. Shayna starts putting Dakota in another choke. Dakota's not the legal person in the ring. Shayna is. Adam Pearce appears Raw, and he has the Raw ref come out, and they call the match. And so then they said, like, William Regal's going to have a big announcement that's going to shake NXT up about that match. And now they announced it. So I'm really confused.
It's going to be a heel turn. She's going to turn heel in the match.
Yeah, they're both. And you know what? I'm not liking Sasha as babyface currently. And she has that weird laugh she's been doing. And I fucking hate it. Every time she does it, it's like a.
Better heel.
Yeah. The boss is a heel. It's not a babyface.
That's why. Some wrestlers for me are just meant to be heel and meant to be babyface. Some can play both very well, but like some are just meant to be one of the other. Like why Randy Orton should never be a babyface. Always should be heel. Never turn that man. Never turn him into a face. I don't like him as a babyface. He's just a natural heel. He's such a better heel. He's such a great heel.
The only time I liked him as a babyface was when he went against Evolution.
I agree.
He beat Benoit for the belt, and then they got all mad and did the. Yeah.
But at that time, that was cool. But like. the recent years, it's like no, he's so much better as a heel. You know what I mean? He just plays that heel character very well. You look at Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins to me is a better heel. And I mean, even if you look at to me, I think that Johnny Gargano is a better babyface than a heel. I mean, some people are like
last night's segment that was hilarious with the therapy. I don't know if you've seen that, but it was one of the more entertaining things I've seen between them.
Yeah.
Some people like Gargano's heel work right now. For me though, I'm not feeling it though. I think he's a better babyface. It's because he was one of those wrestlers in NXT. He reminded me so much of Bailey. He was so good at getting emotion out of fans. Like every time he lost.
Well, that's why he was Johnny Takeover. He was like the big babyface of NXT, and everyone loved his matches. He was known as the Takeover champ because his matches were great.
Every time he lost, every time he got beat, you feel like, damn, bro, like when is this guy gonna win?
But it makes sense. I feel like he's an NXT lifer at this point. I feel like he's not gonna go up to the main roster. They try to get him up there with Ciampa, then Ciampa got hurt, so they just kept him down. I feel like he's not gonna go up.
I don't either, in my opinion.
So it makes sense. They had to change his character.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he plays the heel character for a while. I like to see him turn babyface at some point, though. I mean, he was just his reactions back to 2017, 2018 were like they were pretty insane, bro. And the whole feud with him and Ciampa was like so good, man. That rivalry
Injuries
was
killed that feud, man. That feud was jinxed.
Yeah, it was bad luck, man. It was bad luck. What do you guys think right now though about the whole Undisputed Era feud with Finn though, Dave? Like, what do you guys think the outcome is going to be of this?
I don't know.
I feel like what the comment you have down there is what we're leading to. So I feel like after last night, the announcement of we had Roddy and Finn last night. So I feel like we're gonna have Cole win the belt next Wednesday. It's gonna lead to O'Reilly coming back, and then we're gonna see O'Reilly Cole probably at Mania. Because we had the women's title on Mania last year. I feel like they're gonna try to get the men's title on Mania.
So you don't think that the men's match will be at TakeOver? You think it'll be at WrestleMania?
Yep.
Okay, I can see that happening. They definitely have. I guess they definitely could fill other spots too. You know what I mean?
They have such a loaded NXT roster, and they just signed so many people. They just signed Eli Drake, who's now going by LA Knight. They brought it. That class they just announced is insane. Taya Valkyrie, Ben Carter, Alex Zane, who's really big on TikTok. Like so many people they've just recently picked up. Like they could just immediately put them on NXT and they'd be good. MSK, like oh my god.
Yeah, MSK just got signed. Their women's division stacked too, so they definitely could fill in some spots too. And
Priscilla Kelly just went there. Like so many great signings.
What do you think, Renee? What do you think the storyline is planning out to be?
I don't know. Honestly, I am obsessed with Finn. I think every girl is. I think that he's doing so much better in NXT right now than he was on Raw or SmackDown. I think that he should be the champ, like always. And just my opinion. I think he's super talented, and I feel like in NXT they're giving him so much more of a opportunity to show how talented he is. And I feel like ever since he lost, well, technically he didn't lose it, but when he lost the title when he got hurt, I feel like his career really wasn't going anywhere, and then they just like threw him to NXT, and I feel like in NXT he's killing it, and I'm really happy to watch him in NXT. So he seems more happy right now, and I just want to see him get farther and farther in NXT. I feel like he's also helping a lot of these newer people that are coming in, and he's helping pushing them, which I think is really cool. So
I mean, he put over Damian Priest, like one of his first matches there. Like, I mean, that was kind of screwy finishes with Cameron, but I mean, he still put him over in their in your house match. And now
look at him.
He's in NXT, and I'm glad he's putting over people. I was actually upset because I'm like, I'm such a fan of Finn. He could be your NXT champion, but I'm like, I'm happy he's putting people over. But I'm like, fuck. Like,
I miss him on Raw or SmackDown. I miss him, but at the same time, it's like he's killing it in NXT.
I feel this NXT run is better than his first NXT run.
Oh, 100%.
His matches have been the Prince. I'm glad he's the Prince. He's not doing Demon anything. The Demon was cool. He didn't use it a lot, but I'm so glad that's like
that they faded away from that.
Yeah, the Prince is fucking. I started watching him, of course, in NXT, but then I went back because that's when I started getting into New Japan and started watching his early Bullet Club stuff.
Prince
Devitt. God.
Yeah, right.
The stuff he was doing in New Japan was incredible.
Yeah.
Prince Devitt was incredible, man. It was.
So I didn't start watching New Japan until 4 or 5 years ago. So it was right after he had left. When AJ took his spot, essentially, in New Japan, I started watching.
Who do you guys? Who's taking the title from? No, you think it's gonna be Cole? Or you think it's somebody else? Maybe Riley? Or?
Yeah, I think Cole, and then we're gonna have Cole O'Reilly. It feels like we're building to Cole O'Reilly.
Yeah,
O'Reilly.
I love Adam Cole.
For some reason, even though he's not in the picture right now, but I still think it's gonna be Karrion Kross. I still think it's gonna be him.
I think Adam Cole's gonna get help to win, and it's gonna be someone like Cross or someone just random. Dexter Lumis. I don't think they're maybe not Lumis because he's been going against the Garganos, but someone's gonna help Cole. It's gonna be like a payoff, or I don't know, and then that's gonna lead to Finn versus that person for takeover, and then we're gonna get Cole Riley.
This is a pretty cool question right here. What match would you rather see? Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero or Shawn Michaels versus AJ versus Triple H in Triple Threat?
Take out Triple Threat or take out Triple H, and I'm good.
I love Triple H.
Everybody knows my all-time dream match was Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero, so I'm going Shawn Michaels.
Mine is Shawn Michaels versus Dolph Ziggler.
Did they never wrestle?
Never. They were supposed to have a match at WrestleMania 22. Never happened.
That never happened. Yeah.
Because unfortunately.
Wow, it never did happen. Holy cow! Yeah, I just found first thing that came up. Bruce Pritchard reveals big WrestleMania match between Shawn and Eddie.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen. And that would have.
Wow, I would have thought they would have wrestled. That's crazy.
That could have been one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. That would have been so incredible.
I agree. 100%. Yeah, I would have loved to see them.
Shawn Michaels, to me, is the greatest in-ring performer ever. I don't think anybody can touch him in the ring. And
Prime Flair.
Yeah. And then Eddie Guerrero has so much charisma in the ring, so incredible. I mean, they would have had an incredible match. I mean, it's both guys.
Can you imagine Eddie going for a frog splash and getting super kicked? That'd be amazing.
Oh, everything about that match would have been incredible, bro. Like, and it would have been so.
What would be your dream match that you would want to see? Like anybody, whether they're dead or alive.
AJ Shawn. That's my dream match.
Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero.
Golden Crimes, AJ Shawn. Like TNA AJ. 97.
AJ is one of the best in performers ever. He's on the Mount Rushmore of performers.
Well, there was a lot of people were trying to talk AJ versus Shawn Michaels into existence for a Saudi show, and then Shawn ended up coming back for that damn Brothers of Destruction match.
He turns that down, but he goes for the Brothers of Destruction match. Great, that's incredible.
I feel like that was requested by whoever was putting that show together with WWE.
That still upsets me because to me, Shawn Michaels had the greatest exit in WWE ever, bro. The story.
Losing to Taker and walking away next night on Raw with the big farewell. Oh yeah, that was great.
There for that.
Number one, Shawn Michaels. Though that build up is my favorite storyline of all time. That Street versus Career, bro. I was so invested into that shit. Like,
I love how it started at the Slammies when Shawn accepted the award for Match of the Year for the first one, and it started.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's right.
And then everything about that story was great. Shawn being obsessed with the streak.
Yeah,
Taker
he didn't want to accept the loss.
Taker, not accepting his match, saying, I don't need to face you at WrestleMania. And Shaker was the world champion. Shawn says, I'm going to win the Rumble. Shawn has this dramatic elimination at the Rumble, and he starts super kicking referees, and he's all pissed, and he's trying to find ways to get Taker to face him at WrestleMania, and at the same time, he's still in DX, with Triple H is being a part of it, like, dude, like, you could face anybody you want at WrestleMania, and Shawn's like, not for me, bro, like, the only person I'm going to end that streak, and then he costs, Taker the world title in the chamber when he popped up in the chamber, and it's like, bro, the next night, he had one of the greatest punchlines ever, bro, when Taker said he would accept a challenge if he put his career on the line. And Shawn says, if I can't beat you at WrestleMania, I have no career. And I was like, holy shit, bro, that's fucking.
It was real. What I liked about that whole feud is how it continued with Triple H and how it reversed after Triple H lost at 27. And so, or whatever, WrestleMania. And then so it turned into Triple H because he did so much damage because Taker couldn't really walk out on his own, really. So it turned into like Triple H gloating that, hey, I lost, but you couldn't fucking go out on your own. And then it turned into Taker desperately wanting the rematch. I loved that. Like the storytelling in that was amazing. Yeah,
that was really like a 4-year story. That whole story was like a 4-year storyline.
Taker says in Last Ride that that's his greatest, and he wished that he would have went out with that.
But him going out at 20-0 after that match, bro, would have been.
Yeah, he wishes that would have been his last match was against Triple H, the Hell in a Cell. He said that should have been it, but I felt like that didn't match my Shawn Michaels match, and he kept looking for that. He wanted what Shawn had, and he had it, and he didn't accept it.
He wasn't gonna get nowhere close to that right now. That wasn't gonna
get. The only one that was good after that really was against Punk.
Yeah, after that was
that was literally his next story was against Punk the next year.
Yeah, it's a shame, How do you guys feel about the streak ending? Do you guys think that Brock was the right guy for the streak, or it should have been somebody else?
In hindsight,
I
he
can't
was.
stand Brock Lesnar, so I'm gonna say no. I don't think he should have taken it. Just
I
my
don't think
opinion.
anyone should have ended it, but in hindsight, since it did happen, he was the right person. But if it shouldn't have happened.
I think Roman should have taken it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
okay. I would have. That would have made more
Because you know how they
sense.
say that like because they put their back down for the next person they think is going to be bigger. So I feel like him losing to Roman and Roman taking his streak would have really helped Roman's career even more.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah, it would have.
I think it should have been. It should have
Brock.
been. It should have been Roman Reigns or Bray Wyatt. I think it should have been somebody younger that would have elevated them more. Brock didn't need it, but I fully understand why he was the one to beat it. He was the most.
The story afterwards of him being unbeatable essentially told why they went with it. So, but other than that,
at that time, Brock was the most believable. I mean, you look at the guy and you're like, holy shit! Like, if
former UFC champion, he just fucked up the streak in
if it's
10 minutes or 12 minutes, whatever it was.
Somebody would also have to carry that. I mean, like, somebody would have to carry that where they wouldn't care about the backlash and Brock would give a fuck.
That story is so crazy, though, that Taker was concussed in that match and does not remember any of it.
Yeah, right?
Nothing, bro.
Being there live was insane, dude. Like, you could hear a pen drop.
Where were you sitting? Were you up higher or were you on the floor?
I was like where the shield came down. I was literally like right there on the aisle when the shield came down, and it was insane.
There's like 60,000 people at that WrestleMania, right?
It was loud. Like, and then the best part was like when it was all over, like Bourbon Street was like so happy about Daniel Bryan. Like everybody was chanting, yes. Yes,
see, that's what makes that WrestleMania so good. The emotions that we got.
That's the only thing. Yeah. That's the only thing that could say that WrestleMania was Daniel Bryan, bro. It's the only thing, bro.
It was a good Mania.
Just imagine though if WrestleMania went off with the streak ended and WrestleMania was like, it's over. WrestleMania's over. Streak's dead.
So let's say we would have had Batista Orton as that main event and we didn't have Daniel Bryan. That would have been a shit Mania.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I still think to me, okay, so this is what I did. I don't know if you guys were following me back then, but I did like people back then. I was booking WrestleManias because people wanted me to rebook shit, and one of my most popular ones was WrestleMania 30. And on the card, I said we should have had the main event should have been Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton because number one, if you remember when Daniel Bryan won the WWE Championship, Randy Orton was the one to cash in. Take it from him. And Randy Orton became part of the Authority, and Daniel Bryan's babyface run became even better, and he became defining the odds against the Authority. So storyline wise, it would have made sense. Randy took the belt from him at SummerSlam. Now Daniel Bryan gets the rematch.
I gotta know, Renee, you were there live, so you said it was that quiet to hear a pin drop. Like legit, like were you? Do you remember? Like, were you looking at people around you, or were you just focused on what happened?
Oh, the whole time I was looking at everyone else.
Because I remember watching it live on the network, obviously, because I was like the first WrestleMania on the network. That my Undertaker's my second favorite and my brother's all-time favorite. So he lives in Denver. I live in Southern Colorado. So we texting during the event. And when that happened, we all thought the ref fucked up. Like even my family, because we literally watch it like it's a Super Bowl. Like my whole family, my grandparents would come over and everything. Everyone would come over. And so we were all like, because it's the streak. We all knew what it was. Even if you only watched WrestleMania, everyone knew what that was.
Yeah.
And so we were all like, everyone was like, no, that ref, that something's wrong. Something went wrong.
What's funny is like we all thought that when we were there live. We were like, this is a joke. Like this isn't real. This wasn't supposed to happen. And like
because the reactions of everyone, every single person they show on the floor.
You know what's crazy?
Shocked.
I was watching it with my friend. I kid you not, bro. No bullshit. We're watching this match together. That's when he was still watching wrestling. He isn't watching as much anymore. We're watching the match. And as Brock is making his way to the ring and he's doing that slow walk, me and my friend are talking. And I swear to you, I turned to him and I said, you know what, bro? If anybody's going to beat the streak, it's going to be him. And he's like, bro, there's no fucking way Brock's beating the streak. I'm like,
I was one of those people. I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's not.
And I was like, and I said, bro, take a second and just look at him. Just stare at this man right here. If anybody is going to be believable enough to beat the streak, it's going to be him. I'm not saying he's going to beat it, but I'm saying if it's going to happen, it might be Brock. And of course, I never thought Brock was.
I think it was just the way it happened. Like it was like 3 or 4 F5s, and Taker only like went for a tombstone like a few times, and it was reversed every time. And then it literally ended with like a 3rd or 4th F5, and we were all like, Taker did not even land like a tombstone. What the hell?
I would say the worst part though is like they had the women's match literally right after that happened. Nobody gave.
Wasn't that the
nobody?
Was it? What, was that the? Yeah, it was like the.
It was the Bella Twins and oh my gosh, I don't remember. But it was like a big women's like tag team match, and literally like nobody cared. Everybody was still like processing what happened with the Undertaker.
Well, this was obviously before the Divas. I mean the Revolution. So that was.
But even if you look at that year in general, bro, even when he destroyed Cena at SummerSlam, I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like this guy is like even when he destroyed Cena at SummerSlam, I was like,
yeah, that was insane because literally Cena had almost no offense. He would do like a few moves and Brock would laugh and just fuck him up.
Nothing. And what's crazy, and the reason, and you know what's also crazy is that the original person that was supposed to be Daniel Bryan, he was supposed to destroy Daniel Bryan that year at SummerSlam, and that would have got him if he would have beat the streak and then destroyed the most over guy WWE at that time, he would have been the hottest heel going, bro. He
already was once he beat the streak. I feel like he was already there.
But when he destroyed Cena, I felt like at that point he couldn't be stopped. I was like, this guy cannot be stopped.
Roman won at 33. I know it was a bad match and Taker wasn't what he was, and he got better in shape later, but that should have been the start of Roman's heel turn. That 5 minutes of just booing of him standing in the middle of the ring for 5 minutes to start Raw. Yeah. And then finally just one line. This is my yard now. Boom, mic drop. I was like, oh my God, that's heel Roman. And then it didn't happen. I'm like,
and then I just let it go. Yeah.
So the WrestleMania 30 thing, when I had that card built up, the main event I had was Randy versus Daniel Bryan, and I had Shield versus Wyatt family, which the match that happened at the Chamber, which was incredible. I was like, that could have been at WrestleMania. And then you could have Batista versus Brock Lesnar, which was a match that we never really got. The Animal versus the Beast. That would have been, I think a lot of people would have fucking loved that scene, that shit. And then I said, Undertaker's opponent that year could have been John Cena, which would have been long overdue because they waited too long to do it. And my friend Kyron, shout out to Kyron, I gotta give him credit for this. His idea was that Cena should have beat the streak and should have turned heel, beating the streak. So it gave like during the match, should have gave like Taker like a little
anyone beating the streak as a heel. So that would have been incredible.
But for Cena to do it, like actually turn, he was saying like, during the match, like Cena could have gave Taker a low blow and then hit him with the fucking attitude adjustment and then kicked and then beat the streak and then people, because for Cena to turn heel, you would want fans to hate him, to continue to hate him. You know what I mean? Because if he turned natural heel, people would have just cheered him. But
I just feel like the fans wouldn't have adjusted to a heel Cena.
I don't think so either, especially since he had so many kids that loved him. I feel
like Roman had a lot of kids, but he wasn't like the same level as Cena.
No, Cena's here, Roman is here. Sorry.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I disagree though, because Hulk Hogan was the same way, and Hulk Hogan's heel turn was incredible.
But here's the thing: Hogan's heel turn was when the fans already were turning on him.
Yeah.
So he was already coming out of WCW to massive boos. Already.
But a lot of people already wanted the Cena heel turn too. Most of the people that weren't,
that's where I go with Renee and say the kids didn't.
Yeah,
besides the kids, but like
you got to think, John Cena had more women and children as his fans than he did men. So I feel like if he turned heel, it would have changed his career. Like
we were talking about the chants, like I was talking about earlier, and literally when you hear those chants, the Let's Go Cenas were high pitched because it was kids and women.
Because it was kids and women.
And the Cena Sucks was super deep because it was always the men.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying, I think it would have been great for Cena's career because it would have been.
I agree, but I just it would never was
not done his career very, very well if he would have went heel when he had a bunch of kids.
I'm actually surprised that some of the people who come by like Twitch or TikTok or whatever were doing it, and they'll tell me they don't like Roman as a heel. Like they loved him as a baby. I'm like, wow,
same stuff all the time.
Like, wow. Like to me, I love it. But then I think, and they're usually younger, but I'm like, that's insane. Like that really pissed them off.
All of these fans were complaining for so long that they want Roman heel. We're tired of it. Heel.
I feel like these are the fans of Roman as a babyface, and now they just hate that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
See, it's the same. It's the same for Cena though, because I think him turning heel at that time would have been perfect because you had Daniel Bryan on the rise. Daniel Bryan could have now been the inspiration for children because he was so over at the time. So
I just feel like it wouldn't have worked because Cena would have gotten cheered again in a way because then it just wouldn't have worked.
If he beat the streak though, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the only way I could think it working. Other than that, I just feel like
either I would have turned.
Unless he went Hollywood like Rock before Rock took off, just go fuck everyone.
I would have turned him heel either beating the streak, or I would have turned him heel when he joined the Nexus and actually had him in the Nexus, like becoming like the fucking leader of the group of the Nexus.
God, he should have not won that damn match. That was so stupid.
Never. Because even as me, like growing up as like Cena was my idol as a kid, but I always had the suspicion, like, man, I kind of want the heel turn to happen, man. Like, I kind of want to see what he would be like if he had turned heel, like, because all the top guys that did it, Hogan did it, Rock did it, Austin did it, Taker did it, everybody did it. But I also understood why it wasn't. I also understood why Vince never did it because it was Cena. It was his identity. So that was his.
Well, Rock wasn't always. He came in as a weird, fucking babyface, Rocky Maivia.
But he immediately
turned heel. He immediately turned heel and joined the Nation. Yeah.
He turned heel in '98 though. No, '98 Survivor Series when he was getting crazy reactions and he joined himself with McMahon and Shane for that tournament because he was getting.
Yeah, that was after the Nation.
Right, but that was a heel. Like that was.
But he was already heel before that with the Nation. The Nation. He took the lead from Farouk, and Farouk turned babyface, and Rock was a major heel.
To me, the only heel turn that would never work for a top guy, which I don't think ever worked, would have been Austin, because his character was nothing to hate about. There's nothing to hate about Stone Cold's character. So I mean, even though he did
turn heel at WrestleMania 17, though.
I'm saying that was the only one that didn't work for a lot of people because
no one liked that. Like the match
really,
the pay-per-view was great, but then the story of him being heel afterwards sucked.
I mean, he did do some of his best comical stuff, with Kurt Angle and shit like that backstage wise, but like heel turn for Austin.
I don't care.
I think Austin, as far as like top guy wise, was there's nothing to hate about Stone Cold's character. What is there to hate about his character?
He was the anti-hero.
Yeah, so nothing to hate. Same with, and I do believe though, even though Hogan turned heel, I think Vince McMahon looked at Hulk Hogan and John Cena the same. I don't think he would ever turn Hogan heel because so many kids looked up to him. So many kids idolized this guy as part of his era. So I don't think
Hogan was way past his prime, and that's when the crowd started going on him. I mean, he wasn't. I never thought he was a great wrestler in general, so I always thought he was overrated. But you could talk on the.
But he always, I think back then for his era, he put on good matches for what it was. I mean,
era was different. But even then, growing up in the 90s, like seeing him in WCW, I was like, this guy sucks. Why did people like him? I thought he was terrible in the 90s.
Yeah.
His
guy started wrestling in the late 70s. So
you didn't like his Hollywood Hogan run, his character?
I was a WWE guy. But I did watch WCW, but I was DX. I was like, fucking WO, it's DX. And WO was great. I loved NWO, but I loved Nash and Hall. I hated Hogan. I think most of my life, I've always hated the older wrestlers. Like, just get them out of here.
Just get them out of here. That's literally me.
That's why I made my videos I was like, damn, Hogan was like the same age Jeff Hardy is now when Hogan was doing NWO. So that was my comparison. Because back in the 90s, people were like, why is he still there? Like, what is going on? That
reminds me of that promo that Mustafa Ali did where he was talking shit about Hulk Hogan and he was just like, oh, here we go. We get to see this all over again because this is what the fans want to see.
He tweets about it all the time that they're always pushing the same fucking talent for the last 15 years.
But he's got a point though. He's got a valid point. That's why I always tell people, people are always asking me consistently, how would you book John Cena's 17th championship win? I'm like, but he doesn't need to win another championship win.
Dude,
he doesn't need another title run.
I get that question almost every day.
I love John Cena, bro. John Cena is my favorite. John Cena is my favorite wrestler of all time, bro. But he doesn't need another world championship run.
That's me with Charlotte. Can we not with her? I'm sorry. I understand people love Charlotte. I think she's awesome. But I don't feel like she deserves another title match.
I feel like she's also mediocre in the ring. She's not as good as people make her out to be.
Oh, no, not at all. Gotta eat my
I think she is. I think she's incredible.
I think she was carried by everyone else she faced. I think even Alexa's better in the ring than her. I think she's incredible in the ring, but I think she's not bad. She's just not as good as people make her sound.
I think a lot of people, the reason most people don't like her though is just because she's always in title pictures. Like, why is she always in the championship match? You know what I mean?
I didn't like her in NXT either.
Why is she always? She's never had a WrestleMania match without a championship involved in it, and this year she's gonna have another one. So I'm like, why is she always involved in championship matches? I
love Asuka, but they did nothing with her title reign. They gave it to her because Becky got pregnant, and they didn't do shit.
Nothing with it. And Asuka's actually really good too, man. She's incredible.
She's great. She's amazing. She had a great NXT run. Almost all the women we see had great NXT runs, and they almost flounder all of them on the main roster, except for the 3 or 4 that they like.
Except for the 4 horsewomen. Yeah. I mean, besides all of them.
Yeah. And then Alexa here and there.
But she wasn't even big. It's crazy. She wasn't even big in NXT. That's the crazy thing. She was a nobody.
Yeah, she was a manager. Yeah. She barely wrestled.
She was a nobody in NXT.
She's the women's champion, and they haven't done jack crap with her. I
think she may be since they do nothing with her. I think she could be another cool character to put her with the Fiend, because I don't know if you guys seen her stuff in New Japan when she was Kana, but she had a really dark,
she'd come out with all kinds of clown. She would kind of mimic Heath Ledger's Joker, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, and she doesn't speak. And I know Vince McMahon doesn't really push her because she doesn't speak good English. So put her with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss can do all the talking for her. She can display the psychopath, insane. They can, honestly, I feel like what Alexa Bliss is doing with the Fiend character, they could build a little female faction around that, and they could just be this psycho, crazy faction where they can just come out and
the
just beat
female retribution.
They can just beat shit out of people. And
I don't want WWE to do factions anymore. They don't do good with them.
If there was anybody that you could have win the title from Asuka, who would you pick?
Rhea Ripley for me.
Rhea.
Me too.
Mhm.
I honestly think it's going to be a triple threat match between her, Charlotte, and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the title.
I hope so. From what I've heard,
They did Rhea and NXT dirty last year. I was so upset.
From what I've heard, the original women's match at WrestleMania was supposed to be Charlotte versus Lacey Evans for the title until Lacey Evans
But she got pregnant.
I'm not a fan of Lacey either.
I love Lacey Evans.
She's great on the mic too.
So that's not going to happen. But
yeah.
I think that I want to see a triple threat. I just don't know if they're going to put her in it though. I'm a little concerned.
I mean, I know that Sonya Deville has a whole like manager position right now, but I would love for her to be champion. I feel like she has so much potential and so much talent that hasn't been able to be used. Obviously, for good reasons why she hasn't been wrestling, but I feel like she'd be a big superstar for the women's division. I don't know if you guys like her, what your opinion is on her, but
the last match I only remember is the SummerSlam match against Mandy, and Mandy's not that good, so it wasn't that good of a match.
Yeah,
so I'm judging off that because I'm sure Sonya. I can't remember a good Sonya match, so I really have no opinion on it.
Yeah, Sonya, she's solid. I think she has a good look, but I think she has.
She's amazing on the mic. I don't know if you guys listen to her when she cuts promos and stuff. Even as a manager right now, the way she's just, I've always loved her, and I'm really mad
hate her.
that they didn't push her.
And she would have. They would have to push. They would have to push her where I can care about her more. I'll say that. Like I don't. Hate her, like,
for sure.
But yeah, no. Last year they did NXT so dirty. Like you put Charlotte, choose Rhea.
Oh my gosh! Oh.
Great match though. Her and Rhea had a phenomenal match at Mania.
Oh,
that was my. I think that was my highlight besides the Boneyard match of night one. Like actual match, that was probably match of night one.
Yeah.
But then Charlotte beats every single woman she went up against in NXT. But when she drops the belt, she doesn't even get pinned or submitted. It was damn Rhea who ate the loss for her. Mm-hmm. She did not put one person over when she went back to NXT. No. Not one. Won every single match. Even buried Bianca twice.
Yeah.
This is a good question too. None of this question right here. What about Shayna? Shayna's another one too. I think.
I love Shayna Baszler.
This is random, but I missed the intro to her theme song of the horses and everything. I really loved that.
Oh yeah.
And she's really good though.
She's good with Nia Jax, honestly.
Her and I would say Shayna was decent for me, but her character was super over. She was believable.
They ruined it with the whole biting Becky Lynch shit. When she bit Becky, that killed her character.
Oh yeah.
And she lost to Becky WrestleMania too, which is another thing.
Yeah, Becky should have put her over there. That should have been Shayna's moment.
She wanted to though. She from what I heard, Becky said that she wanted to put her over, but Vince was against it. Vince didn't want
that's what's been preventing the women's division from growing.
Vince wasn't too high about it.
So I was just going to say, speaking of Becky, a lot of people always ask if she's going to be coming back for Mania. I think she's going to wait. I mean, baby's only like 2 months.
Soon. I mean,
baby's only like 2.5 months old.
Yeah.
Some people don't think she's going to come back till next year. Some people think she's
that makes sense.
The whole year off.
Especially during the pandemic.
Maybe she shouldn't. Maybe she should wait until next year's Royal Rumble and come back.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. Like I feel
what about same with the? I feel like whenever she comes back, me personally, I was really upset that they didn't do the Ronda versus Becky 1-1 at WrestleMania because I was really intrigued by that. I think that main event sold by itself. They didn't have to add Charlotte into it. That whole fucking. If you go back, I really don't
understand why she did get put into that. I still don't.
If you go back and look at the Raw when Becky announced that she was going to face Ronda, fucking crowd went insane. And at the time, Becky was so over and Ronda was so believable. So it was like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
They brought Edge in to try to get heat on Becky, and the fans loved it. She was like threatening to break his neck, and the crowd ate it up.
Yeah.
And then with John Cena, when they brought John Cena back, and she destroyed John Cena.
Yeah, she even was standing by the ring, and she just like walked past him, like ignored him, like big timed him, and the crowd lost their. Yeah, no, that's what she did. And then she walked past him, and the crowd lost their shit. Like, dude, that was Stone Cold over. It was amazing.
It really was.
You should never use John Cena for that because people are going to instantly hate John Cena for anything like that.
So I think John Cena didn't mind it because he loves Becky. So
I think it was when he finally realized.
I'm saying as far as fans, like of course fans are going to.
Oh yeah.
I think that's when they finally realized that nothing Becky will do will get her heat unless they like
nothing. She was so over
her character.
She was so over, and I think her versus Ronda for Ronda to have her first loss against Becky would have made a lot of sense at the time, and Charlotte didn't need to be added into that picture. It would have been perfect because
the Rumble that she took Lana, where she won, she took Lana's spot. When Finley like says go to the ring, the crowd, like that's a baseball stadium, And
Yeah, I
that
was
sounded
there.
like a normal fucking
That was
arena.
here.
Yeah.
I was like, because they always say, you know, these big arenas, sometimes it doesn't sound as loud. At least they say in person to the wrestlers. So sometimes the wrestlers won't hear it just because how big the stadiums are. But that, like, just on camera, I was like, oh my God.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
Like,
I'm gonna just
terrible
tell you,
as in,
I had
like, loud
so like
terrible.
a baseball stadium seems cool to have it, but like we had floor seats because there was a lot more because of how big the field was, but you couldn't see anything because it was like they didn't level the ring up high enough or anything, so like you didn't see anybody running to the ring, and then half the time the computer or the TVs weren't working, so you didn't get to see any, like you literally could not see anything sitting down, so everybody had to stand up in order to even see just a little bit of anything. It was just the way they designed it was absolutely terrible, and I wish I never got
I
floor
kind of
seats.
thought by looking, because the entrance had that curve too, and I was like, that looks
Yeah,
really
you couldn't
bad for
see
some of those
anything.
fans.
Like during the whole like Royal Rumble actual matches, I couldn't see any. I literally came home like after Dolph's comedy show and I rewatched the whole entire Rumble because I was like, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see one thing.
I mean, the setup looked cool on TV. Man, it looked pretty cool.
It
But in
looked
person,
neat,
it was
but
terrible. I'll tell you, it was
yeah.
terrible.
If
You
you
were
watch
super close. So
if you watched it at home, it was pretty neat. But her reactions, man, were incredible back then. It reminded me so much of, like, you know, some of the over people. Like, she was probably the most over person that I can think of in a while. Besides Daniel Bryan. I mean, Daniel Bryan was the last one.
Yeah, I mean, you had Rock putting her over, and then that's when they called, what did they call Corbin? The STD?
oh, yeah.
Because they said
I
the
remember that.
stupid something. I don't remember. It was hilarious.
I
though.
also feel like at that Royal Rumble when Nia Jax entered the men's Royal Rumble,
That
and
was
they all did their
incredible.
finishers on him or on her. That was just
That was when,
great.
because that men Rumble was really good too. I like, because we only had one Legends, or it might have been two, but we had like mostly NXT surprises, and I loved that. I was like, because when I remember Alistair came out and like Pete Dunne, I lost my shit when these NXT people were showing up. Like, I was like, because I'm so used to the Legends, and I was like, they're just fucking bringing NXT in. I love it.
Mhm.
And like this year, we only had Damian Priest. I was so sad. I was like, we only had Damian Priest, and then he immediately went to Raw. I'm like, we didn't have no NXT people in the men's Rumble this year.
Yeah, barely anybody from NXT besides Priest.
Yeah.
Even for the women, for the women's, there were a couple more because, you know, the women's roster is kind of small. But I liked. I actually liked this year's Rumble too. The last couple of Rumbles have actually been pretty good to me. They've actually been
this Rumble. Well. I enjoyed this year's Rumble. I had picked Daniel, so I was wrong on all my this was like my worst predictions I ever did because I always do predictions. But I picked Daniel. He lost. I was like, this Daniel's moment. He's gonna get that win over. He's gonna be the one to dethrone Roman. And that went. But
we know how that went.
I didn't have official prediction because at first I said Brock was gonna come back, then I said the Fiend was coming back and win. But my official prediction after I saw that promo Edge cut on Raw, I was like, Edge is gonna win. He sold me on that promo because every point he was making in that promo made a lot of sense. I was like, okay. And then when I found he's gonna be the first one in, I was like, oh, he's gonna.
So when I found that out, I totally ruled him out because I was like, nope, they're not gonna do a number 1 or 2 again. No way. Well, and then what's weird is they announced him as like number 1, but he came out number 2.
Yeah,
or some shit. Like they announced it backwards or something, and he came out the other one. And I was like,
well,
it doesn't really
that
matter.
Was coming back too. I said he was coming back. Did you guys see that tweet that Becky made where she took a picture?
Yes,
of,
during the Women's Rumble, she took a picture of the fucking curtain. Like she was like,
bro, Seth is coming back. And like, no,
and then she tweeted after. She goes, "Sorry, that was just a really nice curtain."
She
fucking suck, Becky.
I had Seth winning the whole thing, and he didn't. So
it made sense that she was there though, because it was like Seth was coming back. She's just there for Seth.
Yeah.
I mean, the baby was only like a month at the time. No way she was returning that soon.
No, not at all.
The woman's body is not recovering in a month after having a baby.
That's what I'm saying. She may not come back until next year, man. I mean, she may take the entire year off just to be a mom, you know, just for the entire year.
She should.
So.
I think the bar was set though because Maria Kanellis came back after 3 months.
Brie Bella came back too.
That's true. Well, they were kind of gone for a while already.
Maurice came back too. Maurice had the baby.
too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think
they both were in the same Royal Rumble.
If she is going to come back now, though, I think now will be the best time just because no restrictions with travel. You can't travel much, you know what I mean? So you don't have to travel like it's not like you have to travel as much as you do, you know what I mean? So they don't even do house shows right now. No, I'm saying she won't, but I'm saying if she did, it would be the best time because you don't have to travel as much. So all you do is tapings, you do TV tapings, and you go back home.
If anything, if she does do anything, they should just keep her as like an on-screen personality, kind of like what So I know MVP wrestles here and there, but like now he's injured and he's just an on-screen person. They should just do that. Keep her on screen, like they did with Britt Baker in AEW. She was out for like 6 months. They still use her every week.
Yeah.
As far as the talent wise, yeah. What do you think about? Are you guys watching the pay-per-view, the AEW pay-per-view this week? I know you
I
are,
am.
Josh. I watch
Yeah.
it. You gonna watch it?
Well, I don't know. Depends if I have to work or not.
The main event is John Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a exploding barbed wire
Yes, I
death
know.
match.
And if I miss that, I'm gonna be so
First off,
mad,
well, I don't know.
So mad.
I don't know if you've ever seen one before, but they are extremely violent. Like it's
I'm
insane, bro.
Listen. I've been a Moxley fan since CZW. Okay, like
she's
I've
a
seen his
she's a
hardcore
real
shit.
Moxley fan.
Yes, like I used to
I'm
go
a
see him
poser.
live when he performed for CZW. When he was licking girls' faces, okay, for his character. When he was with Reby Hardy before she was married to the Hardy Boys, like that's how long I've been a fan of his. So I think it's funny when I hear people talk about, oh my god, he does crazy stuff in AEW. I'm like,
that's another thing. That's another thing that gets me. That's another thing that gets me too. People are always like, "Do you think Dean Ambrose is coming back?" Or it's like, "Oh, but he'll always be Dean Ambrose." People always say he'll always be Dean Ambrose to me. I was like, he's with John Moxley before he was Dean Ambrose.
He was John Moxley before he was Ambrose. Oh my gosh, that makes me so
You
mad.
guys
Don't even
know
start
that.
about that. Oh,
Yeah, he's literally had the name Moxley and wrestled under the name Moxley longer than he wrestled under the name Ambrose.
Yeah, so I think, and from what Josh said earlier, he said that Tony Khan said it's going to be the most violent match that AEW's ever had, bro. So I mean,
if I don't get to watch it live, I'm definitely gonna watch it when I get home.
I'm nervous. The match they had at was it not
last year?
The Full Gear, the first Full Gear.
Yes.
Oh my god! Yeah. When they did just the barbed wire pit, I was terrified.
So was
the spot that got me though was when Kenny did the flip onto the fucking to the wood on the ring, bro. And he fucking missed too.
Oh, when they moved they took a ring apart, yeah.
And he missed. I was like, bro, some people. I've been in a wrestling ring before. I don't know if you guys ever been in one, but I've been in a ring before, and I've taken some bumps. The fact that he did that and he missed and he hit the wood without the padding, bro. I was like, dude. That is
you should watch his little matches from CZW. He did some crazy ass stuff.
Oh, I've seen him. I've seen the one. I saw the match.
Yeah,
I saw the match when he took the fucking drill saw and he had the saw and it sawed his fucking face.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it. They were pretty insane. They were pretty insane.
So I haven't seen those. I've seen like highlights of Terry Funk and Mick Foley and those type of matches. I haven't seen any really Moxley CZW stuff. But I'm terrified of this match. Like I really don't want anyone to get fucking hurt. Like I really don't. And the fact that Moxley has been going to Bloodsport, he faced Davey Boy Smith Jr. 2 weeks ago, and then this past weekend he just freaking fought on New Japan against Kenta in a 10-minute fucking brutal match where they were stiffing the shit out of each other. I can't believe that he does that and then is going immediately the next weekend into a like bro, that's insane.
Just imagine what Renee Young's thinking right now. She's probably like, "You're fucking."
Did you see her tweet when they announced it on Dynamite? She like tweeted a gif of like the guy from Trailer Park Boys, like the big glasses. Yeah. Just like him, like shocked. And it was amazing.
She's pregnant right now too, so she's probably gonna be watching. It's like, holy fuck!
I could see Moxley or whoever loses is gonna take a lot of time off after this match, and I can see it being Moxley.
Definitely gonna take time off soon.
Yeah, no way Omega loses this quick.
Yeah,
I would be shocked.
Yeah, I even though this is. I mean, this match is Moxie's alley. I think Omega, it will be favored to win. I mean, I
feel like we still need to see, because I watch Impact every week too. I don't know if you guys do, but the whole crossover started with Omega and Rich Swann, who's the Impact World Champion. Mm-hmm. Then they tied it in with their other stories that they had going on with Moose and other stuff, and they kind of forgot about that. But I feel like Rich Swann, who defends against Moose soon, is going to win, and then we're going to get Rich Swann and Omega, I think, eventually at the next whatever Impact pay-per-view.
Some of these people that I've seen so another name I forgot to mention as far as the AEW side, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, it may be false rumors, but I've heard like some heavy rumors that they're going to be bringing in Okada for AEW.
So, okay, I feel like we're going to see someone Sunday, but I believe New Japan has a show that same night in Japan.
People think that CM Punk's going to come into AEW. So
he already shot it down on Twitter.
It's not going to be CM Punk. It's not going to be... Because remember, Big Show said it's not who you think. You have to clear that up. Not who you think it is.
So Sunday, and Saturday, they have a card every day this weekend, New Japan. Yeah. So I've been looking through to see who's not on these cards. Okada's on these cards. He's on these. Yeah. He's scheduled to fight. The big match he has is Shingo for the... Or no, Shingo's not champion anymore. But it's against Shingo.
What about Jay White? Is Jay White on the card too? Switchblade?
Yep. It's he's in a 8-man tag.
So Josh, I have to ask, because you watch Impact. I stopped watching that a while ago. But how is Ethan? Is he in Impact again? Is TJ Perkins back in Impact?
Ethan EC3 went in. He came back for one match. He actually just signed to ROH.
Okay.
So he came back in, and he's been doing that whole control your narrative. He started doing after he left WWE.
With his whole shaved head and everything.
So he did the match with Moose, but it turned into a cinematic match, and it was really incredible because that was like Impact's first cinematic match. What I liked about it was it wasn't EC3 trying to prove a point that he's gonna dictate his own career. It was that he's gonna show other people to dictate your career, because he put Moose over. Like once he realized Moose was finally gonna get the better on him, he goes, "That's it." Like he went on his knees. He's like, "Yes, control your narrative." And he went like this, and Moose goes, "Thank you," boom, and just fucking killed him basically. And Moose won. And so I was like, I didn't see that coming. I thought EC3 was coming in to fucking be EC3, and he just put over Moose, and then he went to ROH and started putting over the Briscoes. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Like, and then now he just signed there, and he had COVID, so he had missed a show that he was supposed to have a match, but he came back like 3 weeks ago on ROH.
Was TJ Perkins back in Impact, or is he in ROH?
TJ's been there. He actually went there like right after he got released. Like
I figured.
So he's currently the X Division champion right now.
Perkins has been there for a while. I like Moose a lot too. I think Moose is pretty dope.
Yeah, I also Moose I think should be world champion, but
who's the? I'm not too familiar with everybody on there, but who's the tag team with the two girls? The 2-girl tag team.
You mean the Nevaeh and Havoc?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because they have a few. Well, and then there's also Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan as well. Because they just brought back their knockout tag team title, and Tasha and Kiera won them against Havoc and Nevaeh. So those are ones off top. Jazz came back as well, and Jazz has been teaming up with Jordan Gray, so they're a tag team. Tanel Dashwood was teaming up with Alicia Edwards. They did bring in some outside, like Team C Stars, who are an indie women tag team. So I don't know which one exactly. You mean the Beautiful People?
No, I can't remember off the top of my head. I had to see. I remember them cutting a promo backstage, like when they took somebody's money. And like the dude asked for, like, did you guys? That
was recent. Yeah, they've been doing this really weird story with Hernandez's big wad of cash that he always carries around.
Yes, and it was 2 girls.
That had to be Tasha and Kiera. Did they have like blue hair and shit?
Yeah.
That's Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan then, because they made comments about once Sasha turned her hair blue like Kiera's, and they started saying, "Oh, she's copying Kiera." It was really dumb.
Okay, yes.
So they're the knockout champions right now, tag team champions. They're actually really good in the ring.
Did you guys watch Cena back in the day, like in mid 2000s and shit? 2000s.
Oh, here and there. Actually, I think this is the most I've been into it ever. It's actually really, for me, it's really.
I got really into it when Ethan Carter got signed, and he was Dixie's, person or whatever. Like that's when I started watching it. Yeah, and then when Hero was in it, and all of that, I was really into Impact.
I go further back than that. I started watching when Christian went there. When Christian went to teenage.
So the first time I saw it was when it was on that Fox Sports channel, and it was like an hour long midday. It was just random. So I got home from school. I literally remember I got home from school, started channel surfing. This is probably middle school, and I just happened to find it. I was like, "What is this? TNA wrestling?" I clicked on it, and they had the NWA title, and they have Rhino and Ken Shamrock, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, what is this?" I saw some guys I hadn't seen in a minute, and that's when I first saw AJ, and I was like, "This guy's insane."
I started peeping when Christian went there, and then Kurt Angle's he's in my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. So once Kurt Angle went there, I was like, "Oh fuck, well I gotta watch TNA now," because Kurt Angle's there, and then they bring on Booker T, and then they already had Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, Sting was already there too, and then Bobby Roode and James Storm. So I'm like, okay, I from like 2000
here and there. Yeah, Beer Money was great. I tuned in only here and there until
Beer Money was great.
I started doing the Twitch stuff, and I was like, people are like, "How come you don't watch Impact?" I'm like, "What's it on?" They're like, "It's on Twitch for free." I'm like, "Oh shit, all right." So I watched it, and I was like, "This is good." It made me want to watch Slammiversary. That's when they started signing all the COVID releases. They were like literally teasing every single person who got cut from COVID. They were teasing to sign, and so I was like, "I have to watch Slammiversary. No way you can't watch that." And
I I watched from like 2005 to like 2000, and once AJ Styles left TNA, I stopped watching. Once he left. Yeah, once he left.
But I enjoy it. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're not trying to compete with anyone. I mean, they're doing the whole crossover right now, but it's kind of funny. Actually, some Impact fans hate it because it's literally every week they have Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone go on there and just shit talk Impact every week. It's amazing.
I feel like I really a lot of fans really want WWE to collab with AEW, which I think would be huge for rating. I mean, obviously rating wise, it would be insane, but I don't see Vince McMahon ever doing something like that.
Moxley actually talked about that in an interview about how
they said they're open to it.
AEW's open to it, but then WWE says that. But like, if you look at the history between Vince McMahon and promoters, when he's either worked with other promoters, he's either bought their business out of promotion or he's run them out of business. So
Yeah.
I feel like Vince McMahon. If it was up to NXT and Triple H, I feel like Triple H would go all over it. I feel like he'd be fucking.
I feel like Vince doesn't want to do anything unless it benefits him.
Exactly. That's the reason. Look at the reason that he, when he told everybody they can't do Twitch and they can't do, video games like that because they're making extra money.
Yeah, he wanted to charge them their downside agreement on it.
Yeah,
he was like, if you're going to do that, then it's going to be part of your downside agreement. That money that you're making from that is from that. You're not going to make any more money from us.
So, I mean, Vince McMahon is.
But now you're seeing Charlotte and all these other people go on TikTok like the last month. So I guess they're fine with TikTok. Yeah, Naomi, Charlotte.
And so look at Xavier Woods. He still has his YouTube channel up and down. You know what I mean? So
that's controlled by WWE.
I was gonna say, yeah, WWE can kind of control some of that.
They own up, down, down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. At least he can still do his little thing.
But the one thing that surprised me was G4. So he's doing G4, and he's going by. Actually, I think he's actually going by Xavier Woods. So they probably have a play into it. I don't think he's Austin Creed there.
I would love to see if they were doing cross-brand promotions. I'm a big New Japan fan, and I would fucking lose my mind if they did a dream match between Randy Orton and Tetsuya Naito. Oh my gosh, bro! Sign me up for that. I would watch that shit.
Just seeing Naito go tranquilo on Orton would be great.
Oh my gosh!
I loved when Andrade and Zelina did that. They just did the rope thing and I loved that. That was one of the coolest moments when Cena came back and he had that weird ass dad hair.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
He faced Andrade one episode, and him and Zelina like did the rope thing, and they did the tranquilo. I was like, oh, imagine if that was like Naito and them. That'd be so fucking amazing.
I want to see him. I want to see him come to the States and wrestle, man. I don't care what promotion it's for. He's so.
I was looking at who's not on this damn card that might show up. Because Kenta's on here, so that means he's back in Japan. So
if Naito shows up, I'm losing my shit. He's been my favorite wrestler in Japan for years, man. I've been a big fan of his.
He's booked. He's facing Okada. It's an 8-man tag. It's Okada, Ishii, Goto, Sho versus Bushi, Naito, Sanada, and Takagi.
Bushi's so good too, man.
The only matches that I'm interested in on this card that's happening the same night as Revolution Ball, obviously in the middle of the night, is Gabriel Kidd and Zack Sabre, and then Tenzin and Ospreay. Other than that,
did you guys see fucking Zack Sabre and Ibushi in the Cruiserweight Classic they had on fucking network?
Oh yeah, hell yeah! Everyone wanted Ibushi to win.
I thought he was. I thought he was. I was like, oh, that's probably gonna be.
I loved when Brian Kendrick freaking burning hammered Ibushi. And Daniel Bryan was on commentary, and that was some of the best commentary. Like, I loved Daniel on commentary during that whole Cruiserweight Classic.
That's to me, that's the best tournament they did. I thought it was incredible. That tournament brought out so many new talent. I love the Mae Young Classic they did too, especially the second one when they had
the second one with Io and Tony was great.
I like the second one when they brought in Miko Satomura, and
she's on NXT UK now.
Yeah, she just had. I don't know if you guys
just faced for the title today. Actually, I don't know if she won or lost, but she faced Kaylee Ray.
Yeah. I would say if you have, I watched the match with her and Kaylee Ray. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it. It was a very good match. So if you're bored, you're looking for something to watch, I recommend it. It was a pretty good match.
Someone out here asked, who do you think is going to be the first to betray the Hurt Business? That's actually a really good question.
Cedric.
Really? Why would you say that?
They've already had tension with him, getting too cocky in matches.
I don't want them to split up though, man. I think they need.
I don't either. I want them to add more people. Bring Ricochet in there. Bring Ali in there.
Apollo or something.
Apollo
Crews. Yeah.
Apollo Crews should have been in it. He should have never went to SmackDown. They should have put him in.
Yeah, because Ricochet didn't make sense to it for me even now. Like it would help him, but I just don't see him as a heel.
I think you could have had Apollo and Cedric be the tag team, and then you could have had Shelton be like the mid-United States kind of guy, and then Bobby Lashley could have been, the world champion. I mean, that would have been, or vice versa. You could have had Apollo be the mid-card guy for the U.S. title.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I like Cedric and Shelton as a team. I think they're actually good tag team champions. They've had really good matches.
Yeah.
I hated the whole Strowman Pierce thing that happened because Strowman essentially buried them.
Yeah.
He beat the shit out of him for 3 minutes before the match went haywire.
Strowman's momentum they killed him once he lost to Lesnar in Saudi Arabia. That was
and they're killing Cedric and Shelton by having Strowman kick
at this point.
3 minutes.
I thought Braun Strowman should have been the next believable big guy monster in WWE, and once he lost to Lesnar like that, his
momentum died.
And then he went to WrestleMania and won the belt with the 10-year-old championship.
Just about to say that the tag team title match at Mania, while hilarious and entertaining, killed his momentum.
Mm-hmm. It was never the same. I mean, at this point, I feel like when Braun Strowman came out the Rumble at number 30, and people were like, "Oh, it's Braun Strowman, we don't care." He should not have that feel. When Braun Strowman came out, he should have been like, "Oh shit, here comes Braun Strowman." You know what I mean? Like he should be believable enough where like you could have felt like he could have went into the Rumble and fucked shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like anytime back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, anytime we saw Kane or Big Show come out in the Rumble, we were like, "Fuck," or Khali. Like we were like, "This sucks." Like this is gonna take everyone to get them out of here now.
Even with Mark Henry too, you saw Mark Henry like, "Oh fuck, Mark Henry coming out." You know what I mean? So it's like,
oh yeah, World's Strongest Man gimmick. That was amazing. When the whole and everyone talks about it. Yeah, and then the whole him turning heel again when he fake retired and fucked Cena up. That was amazing. Like the emotion he had, he was literally crying, and then just beats the shit out of Cena right after he's crying. Like that's insane.
I think that got everybody. That was like Oscar worthy.
Cena tried to give him the belt to pose with, and then he's just like, "Fuck you." That was great.
It's the thing with those big guys, though, man. Like to me, when you look at all the big guys in history, I feel like the only one was ever protected was Andre the Giant, because maybe he protected. Even like when Kane first came in,
he kind of was the first undefeated person for a long time.
Like for a long time, but I feel like he protected his shit, though. You know what I mean? Like he knew what he was.
Yeah,
he was a giant.
Too.
It was like back then. No, it was very different. Like he wouldn't let people come over the top rope. Like if somebody went over the top rope, he would be like, that's my shit. You can't do that. That's what the Giant does. You know what I mean?
But though, like there is footage of him before WWE, like putting people like Kamala and shit over.
Yeah. But if you look at like people like Kane, like when Kane first came in, Kane was dominant. But then you look at the years later, it wasn't the same after that. You know what I mean? Big Show. Big Show had some pretty dominant years, but. Even after he took off the mask, though, remember he was like setting people on fire again and shit.
It was that, yeah, but that was the slowly what started killing it. It was once because that only lasted until WrestleMania, and then.
I was talking about that. I was talking about that year in general. I mean, once he he had a good build into WrestleMania when he faced Taker again, and then
Yeah, that was WrestleMania 20, wasn't it?
Yeah. When he buried it. So I mean, I feel like and you look at Big Show. How many times this guy turned heel and face? I mean, Jesus Christ! One minute he's heel, 1 minute he's baby face.
He's about to do it this Sunday when he reveals him as the Hall of Fame worthy guy.
And I had high hopes on Braun Strowman, man. I thought WWE saw a lot of him. I was like, man, he has a great look too. I'm like, God, this guy.
Yeah, it was like you said earlier. It was the Brock story that fucking killed him.
Yep.
Yeah,
I wonder if it had to do with when he kneed Brock during that one triple threat match, and Brock receded him by literally punching him in the side of the fucking head.
Well, that was after because he faced that was at Royal Rumble in 2018, but he had faced Brock in No Mercy in 2017. So it was before that. So I don't know, man. I just feel like it's like WWE pushes like they. What I don't understand. What really bothers me is like they push certain people, like what Shinsuke.
And then they change their mind.
Shinsuke comes up, he wins the Rumble, gets great reactions. People announce him and AJ at WrestleMania. It's going to be great. Has this incredible entrance at WrestleMania. And then not only does he lose the match, but he turns heel. Why?
That match didn't live up to the hype either. What sucked is they had a great match in New Japan is what caused a lot of the original hype. And then once they booked it for Mania, everyone's like, oh, crap, here we go again. But it's hard to repeat classics like that.
But see, I think another thing though is WrestleMania so long too. Have been mentioned. If WrestleMania may have been 2 nights, with a shorter event, because by the time they went on, they were like
they're about halfway into the show.
Yeah, I think maybe like they may have been like the third last match or something like that because we already seen
that was 34. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like they push these people, and the same with Asuka too. She's getting pushed. She wants the Rumble. Loses at WrestleMania, and then she's never the same. Like they haven't continued to. I don't understand it. Like the point of NXT is to build these stars up for new talent, and then Triple H builds these stars up, and he hands them Vince McMahon these stars on a silver platter, and then they're not used. So that's why I think people from NXT. I think NXT needs to be an official third brand. Like they need to be an established third brand.
I feel like it really is. It's just not part of their draft.
Yeah, I think people need to start taking it more serious as a third brand, and then because I don't think people have to come up anymore. Like people go back down and have, like I said, bring them part of the draft. Why can't people be drafted to NXT and for
like we've had Ember and Finn and a couple other people. The Breezango go back. Like Cesaro at one point was back there for a little bit. Who?
Swiss talent. Even somebody like a Randy Orton. Like if Randy Orton was in NXT, like why can't that happen? I mean,
do you remember in the original after they did the original incarnation of NXT, the game show when they actually made it NXT when Seth won the NXT title, they had CM Punk go down as WWE champion and face Seth Rollins as NXT champion.
Yeah.
Why don't they do shit like that anymore?
because it's not as good as it used to be.
And those were on just random NXT episodes. Those weren't even on there was no takeover. It was just
Right.
NXT every week.
Yeah.
All right, before we get off here, I'll take a couple more questions from you guys, and then we'll go ahead and sign off. So if you guys got some more questions, want to ask real quick, pop in some questions real quick, and then we'll go ahead and sign off. We've been on for 2 hours. I don't want to keep you guys on too long.
I know my boyfriend's like, I'm hungry. When are we cooking dinner?
Like for real, I did a podcast. Well, I filmed my podcast that I do, and then doing this. I could just talk forever about this stuff.
Oh, so can I. But
I
I have a hungry boyfriend. I need to go feed him. So
Yeah. If you guys have some questions, man, hurry up. Pop your questions in. Better be quick. We'll run through some questions. I'll answer 5 questions.
Undertaker and Randy Orton rivalry in 2005 was a good rivalry. I don't know exactly what you're asking, but
it was really good. It was really good.
Christian is not Hall of Fame worthy. I'll agree with that.
Pick 3 people from the main roster to go back to NXT. Ooh, that's kind of easy. I would say Keith Lee should definitely go back to NXT. I feel like he's not being used, obviously, because he got COVID and all that stuff. I feel like that they're not really using him as well as they should. I think that he should definitely go back to NXT. I think he would do a lot better in NXT.
Who did
That's
you
just
say?
my opinion. Keith Lee.
Keith. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
I hope that they don't ruin Rhea Ripley because, I really want her to do so well when she comes back, when she comes on. You know what I mean? And she did so good. Yeah, I agree with you in NXT. You know, Charlotte screwed her over, but I hate watching NXT people get in the main roster and then they get treated like absolute crap, and then their whole career that they built up
was fine until he kept getting screwy finishes against McIntyre and Orton. I mean, he beat Orton clean at one pay-per-view, but other than that, he always had those screwy finishes. And then he was only beating Ziggler and a couple other random people.
I would say, for me, I want to see Ricochet, Andrade, and Aleister Black. Those 3.
Those are really good ones. Yeah.
Dude, I have the exact same 3. I had this conversation with my girlfriend the other night, actually. And I said those same 3, Ricochet, Aleister. Actually, I think I said, did you say Andrade? Is that one that you said?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, yeah. So all 3 the same. I think they all need to go back to NXT.
Yeah, I agree.
Put them back in NXT. That way they can be revived. This one right here. Who do you guys think needs a big push right now? I would say Rhea Ripley when she comes up. Rhea Ripley is mine. So
Cameron Grimes to the moon, baby. I think he's so underrated.
I'm always gonna say Dolph Ziggler. That's always gonna be my pick. I know people think he's an old timer, but I think he should get a big push before he decides to retire. So that's just my opinion. But you guys have to understand, I've been a fan of his since he first got in WWE. So it's I've been watching his career from the beginning. And it's awesome that he got the title, but I just want him to have one more push and one more big thing. I would love to watch him and Shawn Michaels fight. That's always been my dream match.
So what do you think about him being called knockoff Shawn Michaels then?
It pisses me off, but I don't think that he is, honestly. I mean, he has a lot of similarities to Shawn Michaels, but
he's been called even by wrestlers in promos. That's so sad.
I mean, he's Dolph Ziggler. First off, ain't nobody Shawn Michaels. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
No, for sure. I agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler. I see the similarities with it. Superstars who had the most potential. Somebody said Mr. Kennedy. Mr.
Kennedy ruined himself. That wasn't anyone else's fault. If he been caught in that steroid scandal, he would have been good to go.
Mine's going to be kind of weird. So I used to be a huge fan of EC3, for those that know me very well. I think that he had a lot of potential when he came back into WWE. I think they could have done him very well as EC3. And I think that they really just did not give a crap. I think they pushed him out of NXT too quickly. I think he should have.
They didn't even do anything with him in NXT at all.
Yeah,
he just
that's what I'm saying. He has so much
3-4 months, and then he went up. The only thing that I could remember him doing was the 6-man North American title match that he was in, the ladder match for the North American title.
Yep, exactly.
It then felt like right that they fast tracked him to the main roster, and they didn't do crap.
So I said they pushed him too quick to the main roster. I think they should have kept him in NXT for a while, and he probably would have been pretty big.
I'm gonna say that's good. Kennedy's a good answer. I like Kennedy a lot. I'm gonna say Rusev though for me.
Yes, Rusev did.
I like Rusev more when he was the Bulgarian Brute, when he was undefeated, when he was U.S. champion, and he came in and he was crushing people, and he was super believable, anti-American. I was digging that whole gimmick.
Feud was probably one of my favorites, to be honest.
So this might be, I don't know. I feel like it's still good now, but I feel like it's not what it could have been. The Fiend, they totally killed him against that in that Hell in the Cell against Seth. When
Oh,
he was
for
like,
sure.
he couldn't be killed. Like that was stupid.
Stupid. That's
Then
one
it,
of the,
with DQ, and this is a Hell in
and
a
not
Cell
only
match.
and not only did it value the Fiend, it devalued the Hell in a Cell. Like it's a Hell in a Cell, anything goes. Like we saw a man get thrown off the fucking cell, and the match
Yeah.
through the cell in the
Yeah.
same match, and it continued. So I mean, but the Fiend, excuse me. The Fiend could be a good answer. The one thing about the Fiend, though, for me, is they had to keep him away from the title. I don't think he needs a championship. He's kind of like
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, that probably was really what it was. When they put the title on them, they really couldn't keep it on him, and that kind of killed his character. When the way they had to take it off of him.
To win the belt, you have to lose the belt, and it's just, to me, he doesn't need to change. He's kind of like Taker. Taker never really needed the belt in his career because he was always over. He's Undertaker, so I mean, he's always going to do something. So I mean,
Yeah.
right now, that's a good question. Who's the most believable to beat Bobby Lashley right now? That's a good question.
Ooh. Like anybody out of the roster?
Keith
like
Lee.
Anyone?
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee,
He was supposed to be in that triple threat, and they presented him as a pretty big threat leading up to it. But other than that, I don't know.
It's probably going to be Drew McIntyre, though. I would imagine.
Yeah,
I would say Drew for sure.
Or Randy. I would feel like could be one.
That would be that would be.
He's been pretty insane heel run the last year. So.
Oh, he's been so good. Yeah. I've been enjoying watching him lately.
So I can see that.
Randy's been pretty sick with his heel turn right now. Oh my god, it's probably gonna be Goldberg. Yeah, it's probably gonna be. Bring back Goldberg. Let's bring him back.
Please don't. Please don't.
This one right here, a match we never got that should have happened. Sting versus Undertaker.
Sting Taker. WrestleMania 31 should have happened.
Sting versus Taker.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that.
I did hear rumors that supposedly, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Undertaker came back for WrestleMania 27 and Triple H came back right after, like the big return, and they had the big stare down in the ring, supposedly that was supposed to be Sting, but Sting turned down that offer because he was still having issues trusting WWE with his character or whatever, his push or whatever. From what I've heard, so that they said that they offered him that spot that year, which would have been, oh God, that would have been crazy if that was true. But,
wow.
Never know.
But Sting versus Taker for sure. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. There's nothing else I could think of.
Yeah.
Even if it never happened at WrestleMania 31, you couldn't do it. You're telling me that you could have made a boneyard match or something like that? Like, come on, dude. Like something.
Honestly, another one that I kind of would have liked to seen was Dean Ambrose versus oh my God, now I can't even think of his name. Oh, Mick Foley. I think that would have been.
Oh yeah. So even before the Shield, they had like a big.
They had a little rivalry thing.
It was pretty popular amongst the fans because they knew how crazy how Dean was, and that's when I first heard of them. Was like this crazy fucking deathmatch guy wants to fuck up Mick Foley.
I think Foley, when I heard Foley failed the physical, he didn't pass the physical for it.
Oh,
he was. Yeah, he couldn't go.
Yeah,
he was too messed up. So I'll do a couple more, guys. Let me see. This is a good one right here. Do you think they should bring back the Raw and SmackDown stages from like the old time? So like even
different. What do you mean?
So I guess he's saying, do you think they should bring back the stages even though they're in the Thunderdome right now? So they should bring back the Raw and SmackDown stage.
Oh, the separate. I see what you're saying. So like they had like the skateboard ramp for Raw, and they had the whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, the SmackDown set was actually pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, I was digging.
I didn't like the Raw set. The only thing that I liked about it was when they first brought it in, and Kevin Owens went up it like it was a skateboard ramp and jumped on it. Forgot who, someone.
The SmackDown set was pretty.
Because I posted a TikTok of that to Tony Hawk theme music, and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh my God.
All right, so
but yeah, I would like them to do that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll say this question. We'll do one more after this. So, favorite feud in WWE right now. My favorite feud would have to be the Fiend and Randy. I've been heavily into it, so I'm really digging what they're doing right now with that story. Plus, it makes the suspicion more for the Fiend. When he's going to come back, and it makes the suspicion more of what he's going to look like and shit like that. So, I'm intrigued. Yeah. I'm into it. I'm intrigued by it.
I would say. I mean, this is WWE. It's NXT, but it's WWE. Adam Cole versus the UE, or Kyle O'Reilly at this point. I feel like that's what we're getting at Mania or TakeOver, whatever, too. But that's really keeping my interest because I loved the UE. So,
some triple threat match, you think?
Nah, it'll be one-on-one. O'Reilly.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, what is it? Is that your favorite feud too? The Kyle O'Reilly.
Honestly, my favorite feud of all time, which is kind of stupid. I would say Seth versus Dean was a really good feud. For some reason, I just think that they have so much. Chemistry. Thank you. They have so much chemistry together when they wrestle. They've been like that since before WWE, but just to watch the way they feuded was just I enjoyed every minute of it. They're my two favorite superstars.
So my favorite feud of all time was Austin McMahon. My favorite storyline was the Street versus Career.
I would agree. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's like we're talking about that era. Yes, for sure.
Taker Shawn, 100% best feud of all time.
All right, last question, guys. This is the last one, and we're getting out of here. Favorite Raw and SmackDown theme ever? Raw and SmackDown theme ever.
I actually just posted my favorite Raw theme in my video today. I don't remember which one, but it was the Cross the Nation.
Yeah, I think that's
mainly everybody. The music, play that fucking music. That one.
Mine's the one after that one. The fucking how does it go again? Can't think of the top of my head. I'm going blank right now.
Actually googling Raw themes so I can
not Burn It to the Ground. No.
We're all sitting here googling it. We're like, okay.
Burn It to the Ground actually was a good one, but
no, that was after this one.
So okay, actually, there's a list on Wikipedia, so I see them all.
Take it back, burn it up, and let it go. Carry on.
Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night.
No.
Because they went from they did Across the Nation to
Never Given. I think it's called Never Given. Whoa, Never Given. Whoa.
That's I Want to Be Loved. That's a popular.
Want to Be Loved.
That was 2006 to 2009. So that was after. That was after Across the Nation, right?
Yeah. So
yeah.
And then after they went to Nickelback.
Mine would be Want to Be Loved, and then my SmackDown theme would be the I don't know what the name of it's called either. It was like 2003, 2004. It was the intro of like
like the slow one. It was My Life, My Time, My Life, My Run.
That was my shit, bro.
I love that theme song. Yeah, that theme song. I've been playing a ton of SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 and 6 lately. Yeah. So every time you boot the game up, it plays those intros. Like it was shuffled between the two.
If it wasn't that one, Beautiful People would have been a close second. The one, Marilyn Manson.
Oh, Beautiful People. They used that for Raw for one episode, and then like a year later they used it for SmackDown.
That was a sick one. That's been pretty good. Those themes for like back then were so sick, bro. But I would have to say
they were so good.
I actually really like the one now, the Search by NF. I've never heard of that, but I think it actually fits really good. The new one that they have.
So I would say the SmackDown theme from I think like 2000, maybe like 3 to 2005 or something like that, and then Want to Be Loved for Monday Raw. That was across the nation. I think that's like 90% of people's favorite. You guys, anybody there can probably say
that was like peak. That was like early Ruthless Aggression Raw theme.
Yeah, it was. It was.
What about you, Renee? What are your favorites?
I don't know. I would say I kind of like the ones that we have right now. I actually really enjoy. Usually, like when I used to watch on SmackDown, I would fast forward it. But like now, lately, I don't fast forward it. I kind of like the ones that we have right now.
Oh, somebody said the Green Day SmackDown theme was underrated. I agree. That
definitely was for sure.
I don't even remember that one.
That one was pretty good. And you know another good thing too? The ECW theme. The body.
Oh, Know Your Enemy. I do remember that one.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Which one?
I agree. Yeah.
The ECW theme, let the body hit the floor. That was it.
I remember exactly what you're talking about.
NXT for like 2 years too. So that was great too.
Yeah.
Let the body hit the floor was that's a classic. So I agree though. I actually forgot about the Green Day theme. You said that. That's actually pretty.
Yeah, I totally forgot until I looked it up and Know Your Enemy. I totally spaced that out.
That was a very good one too. So Green Day.
It was only there for a year.
They also had another one too. Another SmackDown theme. I think it was called
like Brown was actually a really good one too. I would agree with that.
I think that might have been the one that was that the Nickelback one.
Oh my goodness,
Nickelback one.
It's not terrible. Like I got used to it, but it's not. I don't know. I guess it's the Nickelback meme. I just can't get into them.
I love
come
Nickelback,
on, but you can't lie. I'm not a big fan of Nickelback either.
Bad. I'm just not a fan.
They didn't have that one great. They didn't have that one great song though. I mean, that one great song. Was
what? Photograph?
Why? They had so many great songs.
Photograph, and How You Remind Me. How You Remind Me was.
I'm just saying that they're not top tier. I just don't like them.
Yeah, they're not my cup of tea either. Like, but I listen to it.
I just don't like them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm more into Nirvana and like Motley Crue, and like that's my type of rock and roll, like Nirvana and like Foo Fighters, shit like that.
Grew up to my parents listening to that, so that's what I grew up basically listening to.
So I'm into. All right, you all. I appreciate all. Okay, all right. Last one before. Sorry, last one.
He said last one.
Greatest entrance of all time. It's
like entrance music or like an actual entrance from like Mania.
It's the greatest entrance of all time. It's the Undertaker. It's the Undertaker. The greatest entrance ever.
Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12 is mine.
I would say Randy Orton.
if we're talking about entrance wise for WrestleMania,
No, Triple H.
Triple H WrestleMania 30. That shit was sick.
I just like it because then Charlotte did the same thing later at WrestleMania 34.
Yeah,
That's what I liked about that. She did the same chair. They just changed it up and they used NXT people.
I also like WrestleMania 22 John Cena when he shot the machine gun, when he came out like with the mob, like CM Punk right on the car, and they came out with the mob and he shot the gun in the air and shit. That was a cool one too. So those would be
CM Punk part of that?
When he came out in the tank. That was pretty cool.
He should have won that match. No one can convince me otherwise.
I love John Cena, but yeah,
he should have. 100%. He should have won that match.
He was undefeated, and then the same thing they did to Asuka. Undefeated, lost at WrestleMania.
Or even if he was going to lose, you should have kept his momentum. He shouldn't have lost Cena 3 times in a row. I mean, his momentum should have kept going the same.
Yeah.
You know, same with everybody loses at some point. So if he was going to lose at WrestleMania, you could have kept his momentum. You could have built him back up because there are ways you can lose and build your bit, and you can still look strong afterwards, depending on how the booking was. That's why I tell people with Roman. If Edge beats Roman at Mania, there are ways that you can still continue to build Roman up strong. His momentum will instantly be destroyed, if you continue to build it up strong, man. So appreciate everybody in here in the comments. I see you guys keep coming with the questions, but I'm not going to answer any more questions, guys. I'm sorry. Make sure you guys go subscribe to
I feel like all of us probably have the Q&A feature on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Do you not have that? The red Q&A? Yeah, just go follow us on TikTok, guys, and go ask us questions.
Go follow HeelJosh, go follow HeYYITSRENAEE right there. It's their same. Their TikTok is their usernames right there. So go follow them, show them support. Appreciate you guys for being in the comments. Much love to everybody in Narcolepsy Click, and thank you guys for being on here. It was fun chatting wrestling.
Later, guys. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you.